Hilger and Maz. Joe Murray. For Boston sports fans, it's 98.5, the Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines. Presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
4-2 New England Patriots will get back to practice today. They're headed towards another road game this Sunday in Nashville against the Tennessee Titans. Titans are 1-5. The MLB Network and others reported last night the Red Sox Alex Bregman does indeed plan to opt out of his contract and become a free agent. Last night, Yoshinobu Yamamoto threw a complete Game 3 hitter. The Dodgers beat Milwaukee 5-1 to take a 2-0 lead in the National League Championship Series. In Seattle tonight, the Mariners play Toronto up 2-0 in the ALCS. Celtics wrap up their exhibition season tonight at TD Garden against Toronto. Sean Grandy and Cedric Maxwell have the call at 7:30 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. The regular season begins a week from tonight in the very same building against Philadelphia. And because of what he sees as civil unrest in the city of Boston, President Donald Trump yesterday threatened to move World Cup games out of Gillette Stadium next summer. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Catches Law. At Catches, they specialize in helping those who have been injured not only from a one-time incident, but from a lifetime of hard work and labor. Does this sound like you? Visit CatchesLaw.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
Start your day.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Work through your day.
What's that thing we do at the end of the show?
And end your day.
I'm not giving you an opinion. I don't know.
Right here. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Toucher
They love the show. In fact, they said, Fred, you're the best.
and Hardy
Who's Taylor the originator?
on 98.5.
Hello.
Hey there.
Aloha.
Bonjour.
How are we doing?
What? I'm an animal.
Can we use this for the radio? No, Nick, with your drinking at noon on Monday.
Well, I tell her the truth, I miss booty.
That problem is too large for the starch.
You know how I feel about clowns on morning shows?
And I'm just saying, hello.
Toucher and Hardy.
Watch Daddy and Uncle Freddie.
Knocking back
25 glasses of soda.
Having some fun.
On 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Let's go.
Hey, Cap, am I right? You also taught me how to eat.
I got one. I didn't hear John do his update.
Really?
No, I was immersed
Excuse
in
me?
something else.
I was sitting right over here when it happened.
I'm aware, John. You're
My
all
bad,
where
boy.
you always are. I didn't hear it. That's my point. I was pointing out that I didn't hear it because if you were not there, then that would have made sense.
Big dog.
All right. Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
Hello?
We are Toucher and Hardy. Hello, Adolfo.
Yes.
How are you?
Am I a bad boy?
No, you're a good boy. All right. Maybe we'll have you back in town.
As I crash at your place.
No.
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 Hey, I don't got to finish. Sorry.
Okay. No problem. All right. We are Toucher and Hardy, Town Fair Tire Studios, 617-779-0985. You can watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. A jam-packed show with Alex Barth. We got a guy from North Carolina. Joe Missoula's gone nuts. So many things to talk about today. There was something in, this is Pat McAfee adjacent, but it is not me ripping on Pat McAfee. I want that very, very clear. Pat McAfee, there is a station in Cleveland, and the guy from Cleveland, it's pretty innocuous sports talk radio. He's just mad at Myles Garrett and saying he's not a like a team guy, It doesn't really matter what he's saying. It's pretty standard sports talk radio. And Pat McAfee played the clip, and he said, look, it's sports talk radio. Local sports talk radio is fantastic. It's kind of patronizing, but that's not the issue. So the station in Cleveland hears of this, and they're very excited because Pat McAfee has, bowed down from his pulpit and has, told them, hey, you are okay. Like, you are meaningful. This, like, look at me. It's not just all national. You're very important too. And so as via response, and this is the issue. Via response, for a response, they say, instead of writing words, they put the kid in the stands with the respect hat on. I don't like the way that culture has moved into a GIF culture. That we express ourselves, the FCC chair, government officials, everything now is a response in a GIF. People have, they talk about people not expressing themselves anymore. People just have stopped expressing themselves through their own words. They use a corny GIF that's been used a million times. How many times have you seen the old man yelling at the cloud thing? At what point do you go, this has been done 500 million times? Like this, it's just so aggravating to me. If you like what someone said, say thanks for saying it. Instead, you put the picture up as if that's clever or funny. I would argue the first time it was ever done, it wasn't funny, but at least it was new. The 5,000th time, we've become, if you walked into a zoo, into the orangutan pit, and you taught them via pointing at pictures to express themselves, I have no doubt that they could express themselves by pointing at pictures. We are the de-evolution of the human race is on full display. I'm not kidding. That you can't even write out or express yourself, let alone that you feel the need to, but that you express yourself with a GIF that has been used millions of times, we got to back up. It's so the lack of creativity and the aggravation. I will credit the person who first thought of responding to things in GIF form. I don't recall it going on. It just kind of happened. But I imagine it was quite funny at the time.
What about like one where you see like Homer Simpson backing into the bush? Mm-hmm. Now that still plays. Come on.
But that's a little bit like the yelling at the cloud thing. It's The Simpsons. People have minds.
Right.
And when was the last time someone watched The Simpsons?
It's the point there.
I mean, seriously, when was the last time one of you watched The Simpsons? Decades, right?
Be at least 10 years.
A really long time.
For me, 20 years. I know the exact last episode I watched when Homer was a struggling junkie from in the Seattle music scene, and he was going to college with Marge. That's when I said, okay, this is they've ran out of ideas. Now they're just cosplaying in different eras with no kind of attachment to the original show. It's just, and it was very poorly done. Harvard situation. Harvard comedy. Too many Harvard, too much of an echo chamber in there. They were just not able to check themselves. But I saw it. I don't even know why I was reading it, the story, but I saw it was Pat McAfee, and I saw that there was, he was deeming it necessary to credit local radio, sports talk radio as a whole, which I thought was a little patronizing. Considering outside of the television, I don't know how to, in clips, I don't know how to consume Pat McAfee. But nonetheless, he's very successful. He's a wonderful businessman. He's making an awful lot of money. He's part of, as they say, the zeitgeist.
Yes, indeed.
But so I don't want to get sidetracked into a McAfee thing, but I do. It did really, really bother me. Really bother me, because it's like someone saying, "Oh, look at how creative you are! Like was a very creative, good thing that you did," and you respond by the least creative thing in the history of the world. I just saw it, and I'm like, "This isn't funny. This doesn't like you're blowing the guy for like saying something nice about you." I mean, it would have been just thanks, like appreciate it. That's all. Thank you, appreciate it. Instead, you have to find a picture, which obviously came off the top of your head. Do you know they even know what I'm talking about? The kid's got the weirdly spelled respect hat.
It's the Derek Jeter respect hat. Could they do the twos instead of the S's
during his last season?
At least it's a very underground
tip in his hat.
At least it's a very underground situation.
Yes, they were teams of Yankee fans wearing them for about 3 months.
And it just, that's how you respond to things. That's how your brain works now. Photo. You know that this is the start of something very bad, or maybe the end of something very bad. That we have become primates. Seriously. We're really dumb.
So you think the use of gifts?
I said seriously, and then my phone went off, which is probably part of the problem.
Signals a regression and a de-evolution.
Devo style, baby.
Okay, all right.
That's right. That the whole concept of Devo, the de-evolution of man.
There it is.
Misunderstood concept, the Whip It video.
Well, there's a lot less thinking going on. You're right about that. There's a lot less creativity. There's a lot more willingness to just let things wash over you, and it's different. It's different from sitting down and just like watching TV for hour after hour, because the TV didn't have a team of scientists behind it, to my knowledge, that were working on an algorithm to feed and to trigger the dopamine in your brain to get you to keep watching. That was just laziness. This is becoming like a chemical addiction that now they're working on, to the point where, I find myself doing it. I make myself stop doing it, but we must all have issues with our kids where I'm like, hey,
do you have a time of day where you force your kids to put down their phones and say, we're separating you from your phone for 45 minutes?
School.
Yeah, I mean,
my son's not as bad as my daughter, but neither of them are good, and nor am I.
Right.
I mean, I will find us eating dinner in the kitchen, and all of us are on our phones. It's hard for me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Hardy said, they have the same people that are doing the slot machines in Vegas teaching about the algorithm.
Yep.
You would think if we're going to have a government that enforces things, and we're not going to develop into anarchy or go completely lawless, that you would have to step in and start putting in some kind of restrictions on things.
I wish I could say I do, John, and I'm like that great dad, and we've got to. No. We kind of lost the rope on that one. The only thing that really forced them into, and I say both of them, both of my roommates, now that Katie's out of the house, is that the one thing that has to happen is Jeopardy during dinner. And we'll sit there and watch Jeopardy. And, of course, you can't have your phone out during Jeopardy. That's
You'd be cheating.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
You'd be doing like what John does.
Right. So we're all off the phone for those 30 minutes. The rest of the day, I can't tell you. School, sure. Can't be on their phones a lot during school, but it's still allowed like a little bit. I would love it if they just made them put their phones away for the entire day. That'd be
Zoe
great.
does. Zoe has to put her phone away for the entire day.
That's awesome. I love that for her.
I don't know why they don't make them do it at your kid's school. It just seems obvious. You just come in.
Yeah,
and
they just instituted that at my youngest high school this year.
Yeah,
Well, I got a tip. Just take away the phones. You're allowed to do it. Just do it.
They have the kids. They have slots that they put the phones in.
So
we were carriers.
Yeah, when we were at
my
the
kid's school,
we were at the open house a couple of weeks ago, and I would say at least 3 or maybe 4 of his classes had a thing where the kids come in. You got to put your phone in this wooden rack thing when class starts.
Yeah,
so
similar.
It's not just turned off or in a bag or something. It's like, no, you're physically separated from it for these next 50 minutes.
Yep.
Well, I make because I take my daughter to the movies just so she will at least at points, and this is we're not seeing, Holocaust documentaries or anything. I just saw Annie Hall again, so I'm that's a big joke in the movie is that he keeps taking her to this 4-hour Holocaust documentary. So I'm sorry, it's on top of mine. But I'm not taking her to these like 4-hour things. But even like a 2-hour, hour-and-a-half film, I'll have her put the phone down and just sit through this. Like, just at least train yourself. I don't care if it's a cartoon. Train yourself, much like I have to sit through something that's an hour and a half. Like, just consume art or media.
Yeah, and without like allowing yourself to be distracted. And both Marcy and Calvin will do this, and it drives me nuts. And I sit there and I fume. We were watching like the dumbest movie the other night. The new Naked Gun, which I remember you had seen.
Yeah.
And you were like, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, good. We're going to watch a comedy together. We're going to, and Katie was home over the weekend. So it's like, let's all sit down and watch this. And it's seriously, it's like an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah,
I don't even know.
I think it's less.
I don't even know how it got like approved as a
Seriously.
movie.
It's like an hour 7.
It's so
Yeah.
close to not being a movie, but
Yeah.
fine. Right? Thank you, 12. 5 minutes in. And this happens all the time, especially with Marcy and Katie. Oh, who is that? What were they in? Was that the guy? And then they start talking about what else they were in. And I've said it to my son before because I'm allowed to as his father. Would you shut up and just watch the thing that's on in front of you? Yeah. Who cares what TV show he was on? And meanwhile, and I'll pause the TV. I'm like, meanwhile, now you're going to ask me what's happening, what's going on with that guy, because you just shush your brain and your mouth at the same time. That would be great. Just watch it. But both of them, since they were kids, wait a minute, why is that happening? Why are they doing it? Well, you have to watch. You know, they're letting the story unfold. But the two of them will go off, and then they're on IMDb, and then they're checking the info down at the bottom, and they're like, pull up that other thing. I just get up and leave. I'm like, okay, well, you guys don't want to watch this. You're more concerned with allowing your brain to go all shotgun scatter off in these other directions. Like, just watch this one thing. It's not fine art. We're not forcing you to watch it. It's the Naked Gun. Yeah, you can't even focus in on that. So I just figured it out. It's Marcy's fault. It's her problem. She's the reason why the kids are the way they are and why all kids are the way they are. Her mentality.
I see.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Oh,
it is her fault.
Married very poorly.
Well, she's from a very dim state.
Jesus, those Midwesterners, man. Like further Midwest than you.
Yeah.
Easy.
I mean, at least we're
That's
by the water.
Yeah, I mean,
at least there's a geographical reason. why
Halfway
that
through
place
that, I'm
exists.
like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Well, listen, there's Great Lakes around where we grew up. At least there's shipping ports and things of that
Yes.
nature. It's not insisting upon harvesting bleak land.
Yes, that's right.
Like the people of Oklahoma or Nebraska, wherever the hell she's from. One of those
Nebraska,
two.
right?
Brasky.
It doesn't matter which one.
You're right.
They're
It's all the
exactly the
same.
same.
It doesn't.
Oh, I bet you that there's no way that any of us, anyone in this building, outside of this building, could differentiate between Oklahoma and Nebraska.
What
I
do you
bet
mean,
you
on a-
half of people
on a
couldn't even point it out on a map. I believe I could.
Just flat, right?
Well,
That's
yeah,
a-
but
it's
Oklahoma's got kind of a funky shape, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Nebraska's
You
just
got
like
you got the panhandle.
yeah, exactly.
Yes.
It's got a panhandle
Yes.
situation.
I
But
kn-
for no geographical reason that I know of. It was just a lack of, being able to protect the borders, that it got shrunk to that panhandle, is my understanding of the
The
history
Texans
of
made a
Nebraska.
push, and the Oklahomans stopped.
Yeah, I wonder why that Oklahoma panhandle is there. Doesn't it go over the top of Texas?
Yes. What I'm saying is the Texans made a push north, and Oklahoma stopped
Well,
them just
Texas,
the right moment.
yeah, I mean, Texas certainly is very large. But I agree that
We drove to South Padre Island in college for spring break
Oh,
from Michigan State.
how long a drive is that?
2 minutes.
Yeah.
hours, Jesus.
Oh no, it took no time at all. We get to we're driving. There's 6 of us in a van, and we get to the Texas border. Like, you're entering Texas. We're like, all right, we're almost there.
Oh, dear, no, you're not.
I think it was 12 more hours
Oh, my God.
to get to South Padre Island.
Wow.
Brutal.
Yeah, and that's one of those things where you get there and you're probably like, oh, the whole time you're thinking we got to go back.
Yeah, well, now I would think that way, but then no.
How long were you at South Padre Island for?
Weeks. I don't know. Probably 5 days.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole 5 days, even back then, I would have been thinking, oh, no, we got to go back. at
12
some point.
hours in Texas.
Yeah. Like
12 hours to get out of Texas, and then you got another. It may have been like 30 hours of driving.
Oh, man.
Because even when I was drunk, I would have been thinking, oh, no, like I'm going to be super hungover when we're driving back. Like that wouldn't have been fun. I wouldn't have enjoyed it at the time. Imagine if you would have had phones, it would have gone by much quicker. You could have watched so many of AJ and Big Justice dressed as the Gru and whatever the hell movie that is.
The Minions.
The Minions.
Yeah.
There's a video of them singing Sade that I saw this morning as I was researching and not hearing Jonathan, of them dressed as Gru and the Minion and singing a Sade song. And I thought, this might be child abuse at this point.
I bet they're going to have something pretty fun in store for Halloween, though. That would be my guess.
Well, I mean, I think it's much like Stern's got Cocktober. This is a whole Halloween themed, I would imagine, for AJ and Big Justice. I don't follow them on Instagram, but I'm betting that might be a concept. Every day a new costume, a new song.
Good.
I mean, I'm certainly getting dumber. So the world is getting much dumber. So I know I'm getting older because I'm starting to get more and more aggravated with everything I see. Everything I see every day, I'm getting more and more aggravated. And I realize it's life passing me by in some ways, the culture passing me by. But it doesn't mean I have to like it. Respect. Ugh. How is that funny? Why would you do that?
You don't get it.
Yeah.
No.
Society.
I certainly don't get it. And that's all I ask for. I want to be shocked in not understanding. I don't want to be lulled to sleep. Like, youth culture, which this wasn't, but youth culture should be scary to adults. Like, it should be something that we don't understand, that seems like it's, tipping the culture over. It shouldn't be something that you're just like, wow, this is dumb and lamer than what I did. Like, hippies scared their parents. Punk scared hippies. Hip-hop scared hippies. Everything scared hippies. And now hippies are in control. And you notice how non-hippie-ish things are now. Because of the hippies had no backbone. And that's what we know about hippies. All right, very good. We will be back in just a moment. Last night was a cavalcade of sports. By the way, how much are you focused in on sports when you watch it now? I mean, sports, I got a phone, I got my laptop, I got everything all over the place.
The scary thing is when you watch baseball, and you and I both did when we were younger. When I was younger, not every pitch, but I was pretty focused. Now I can't.
No,
I can't.
There's
I was
nothing.
watching the Dodgers game last night, and I'm like, all right, I was flipping around. Not only between innings, but like there was like a conference on the mound, I'd flip away and not go back and miss a half an inning. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it happens all the time.
It's unless you're there,
Yeah.
It's very difficult to watch on television. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
More. Sports Hub.
Did you catch a game last night?
We are Toucher and Hardy. What happened last night's brought to you by Leonard Hair Transplant Associates, where your hair doesn't have to be a game of what happened. So change your lettuce and change your life with Dr. Matthew Lopresti at 1-800-GET-HAIR. As we start the show with a dumbing down of culture, Hardy was on Instagram over the break, and Gary Tangway, our good friend, who is a big-time actor now, he had a post up that you saw, Hardy.
This was posted 6 hours ago, so the Tang are up late last night.
Yeah.
You know what he's doing? Yeah, I'm just working the room. You understand? This is kind of a virtual work in the room, so I posted this. I have a photo here from Apple TV. It's a still shot of a promo placard for a show called The Last Frontier. It just says Apple TV from the creator of The Blacklist, The Last Frontier, 600,000 square miles, nowhere to hide.
It's a culture of lesbians. The Last Frontier. He crashed a boat, and there's all these top-heavy lesbos walking around, and I'm the only man. Yeah. We got to keep the species going, gals.
I know you're not into it, but we have to do it for the good of humanity.
Yeah, gals. We're going to have to do it up.
So he posts the photo of the promo for the show, and then he says, hashtag Jason Clark at Dominic Cooper and the entire cast and crew, all caps, nail it. Congratulations at Curran Head. What's in the cooler? Question mark, exclamation point. 3 problems. Number 1, hashtag Jason space Clark, so it's just hashtag Jason.
Lucky Jason.
And then at Curran Head is a dead link. It goes to an egg Instagram with 1 post, 0 followers. So I don't know who he's trying to tag or who he's trying to curry favor with.
It's the egg counselor.
Trying to curry favor with Curran Head. I'm trying to get some work here. Shut up. It's
egg counselor, I'm available. Hey, it's the incredible edible egg.
What's in the cooler? What are you going to cast the Gary Bear in? Well, nothing, Gary, because he didn't actually link him or add him correctly or invite him to be a collaborator. But hashtag Jason will be trending now because I forgot to put Clark next to Jason. So it's actually just linking to a bunch of stuff from Friday the 13th. Ooh, I'd be in the next sequel to that. That's fine.
Yeah.
Hashtag Jason works too.
I own the damn camp.
Run with it.
I've installed cameras in the showers. Boop, 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 bitty, boop, boop, bitty.
This post from 14 hours ago. Very, very timely. It's a picture of Mayor of Kingstown, which to my knowledge ended some time ago, or the last season wrapped a long time ago. One of the best ensembles on screen. Acting, casting, writing, set, lighting, audio, directing, editing, costume, camera. And don't forget makeup.
These are all things that happen on the sets of movies. In the know.
At Mayor of Kingstown, at Hugh Dillon, hashtag Jeremy Renner, dead hashtag, space dead hashtag.
Yeah. Renner, what up? Renner's on probably, a plane, and he's looking at it. He's like, what the hell? I'm blowing up. What's going on? Ooh, who's this guy pumping my tires? Gary Tangway. Let's check out his reel. He was in Knives Out. Played a newsman. He played 5 roles in this new Lincoln situation they got going at the Wilbur.
Back-to-back photos of someone I'm guessing is Jamie McShane because the first post is just a post with
it's just a picture of a panel of wood.
It's just a photo. But then I realized my mistake. I didn't delete that post. I just posted the same photo again. So Jamie McShane is the most talented, underrated actor working today. He is great in hashtag Bloodline Netflix and absolutely destroys and at Task HBO Max, at Drew Yano, at Tommy Pelfrey, at Mark Ruffalo. It's all in the eyes.
Seen HBO headquarters.
Yeah.
Part Wednesday, October. What's going on? I don't know, but the streams are way up. What? This is all crap that we're putting out. Why is it up? Nothing's good's happening. I don't know. See if you can investigate. All I can point it to is that most of these things are happening in the New England area. Huh? What happened? There's this guy, Gary Tangway. He seems to wield a lot of power. Someone must be plugging the hell out of this. An influencer, perhaps. Yep. Put him in everything. Give him a stand-up special. Gary, he's the Carlin of the decade. I got 7 new dirty words. I made them up on the spot. Improv.
Nothing like a good tushy.
All right, this is very self-indulgent, but I'm going to do it anyway. So Eddie Trunk was on yesterday.
Oh, boy.
And a guy called in. He was upset about Bad Bunny being the Super Bowl halftime show because it's not rock music. And so Eddie, this is every year, but around when they announce this, Eddie gets very mad. So the guy said, you know what I do is I turn off the halftime show during the halftime show. And he said to Eddie, do you think if you got Trunk Nation to turn off the halftime show that it would push the network to like book rock acts?
Just by the sheer number of people that we're talking about who engage in this protest.
The way ratings work, the way everything.
Yeah.
It pauses and you think Eddie would go, no, of course not. Like, what are you talking about? That's not how anything works.
There's 1 billion people watching.
Yeah, and also, I don't know how they track ratings specifically. I don't think it's per TV. I don't think every TV's got that they're getting like 100% accurate data.
No.
But Eddie actually sat and contemplated it for like a few minutes. He ultimately came to the conclusion that it wouldn't help, but it wasn't for the lack of people. It was just because, like Hardy said, there's so many that they don't care. His thing was they don't care, that it's not even about that, and that so many people are having parties during the Super Bowl that they would not remember to turn the halftime show out.
There isn't one iota of rock and roll.
But just know there's a bullet in the chamber should Eddie choose to use it on whatever he wants. Once Trunk Nation moves in one direction decidedly.
Please, Eddie, don't hurt him.
It's a culture changer.
Eddie's you can bid on and get onto Eddie's bowling team for the upcoming Dio charity.
Yeah.
Too bad that's not local.
How many of those slots?
Worth investing in.
What are those slots going for?
I didn't take a look.
I wonder.
Yeah.
Dio, Sabbath, Rainbow.
I mean, the Dio bowling thing's got Morello and Portnoy in it, so it's like a whole situation. Dave Portnoy from Dream Theater. That's his crew. Morello and Portnoy. Yeah, don't worry about it.
You could include Vinny Appice in that as well.
Of course.
I watched the thing yesterday on the there's something on Hulu, but there's these 45-minute like rock documentaries, and one was about the Randy Rhoads thing. And I encourage you to watch it to see Sharon Osbourne talking about it. She seems to really distance herself from it. It's a little concerning, the amount of she was on the bus when this whole thing went down, but her whole idea of that she was completely uninvolved in any way and was unaware of anything that was going on is a little jarring. She's had quite a bit of plastic surgery too. This is pre Ozzy's death, by the way.
Okay, so do you think this is something a case of her protesting too much?
It's like, we were dead asleep in the back. I don't know what happened. To my understanding, there was the driver and his wife were getting a divorce. I wouldn't know. I wasn't involved in the conversations. Ozzy and I were dead asleep. We didn't know what happened. Da 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 da. Like, there's
a lot of legal phrasing.
A lot of legal phrasing, which, in fairness, she might just be so used to talking about this story. By all means, I'm not. I don't know what the hell happened. She's probably telling the truth, but it's just jarring how much legalese is sprinkled into it. Like, she's really concerned about like a civil suit or something. It's 45 years ago that it happened. He was a very slight man, Randy Rhoads. But the guitar was like a appendage to him. It was like a part of his body. That's how he crafted Crazy Train. Take it or leave it. You know?
I don't know anything about airplanes. I have no idea. How was I supposed to know?
It's weird. The bus didn't have air conditioning. They were driving from Knoxville to Orlando, much like your trip to spring break.
South Padre, yeah.
And so they pull into some place, like in, I guess, Florida. I don't know where it was. They pull into some place to get the air conditioning fixed. And while they were there, they were also renting out helicopters and airplanes. So the driver had a pilot's license. He had been up all night doing coke. And he said, does anyone want to go up in a plane? And they believe he was trying to hit his ex-wife or his wife that it was in the process of getting divorced with because she was standing out in front of the bus and he clipped the bus with his wing.
Yep.
But that seems like an awful long way to go to kill a woman. Like to go rent a plane and fly it at her while she stood on the ground. I don't even know how you get away with that. I mean, that seems like the most obvious thing in the world.
It's not,
like even if
plenty
you could
of
do
warning with the plane coming.
Say she's 5'5".
Yeah.
So you're really testing the wing by getting it that low to try to chop someone's head off. That's pretty precise.
Just like, and she would have to be standing completely still. And there's plenty of warning. That
I like her chance of living a lot more than mine. If it's I'm going to take a small plane and get it 5 foot off the ground, and she's probably a foot wide, so you're not a lot of wiggle room, and she's next to a big bus, which they end up clipping, and then it topples the plane over. They asked Rudy Sarzo about it too. Don't worry about it. It was traumatizing. Leave Rudy alone. He had to get back with Quiet Riot after that and join Whitesnake, so don't cry for him. He had a very robust life afterwards. He went to church to find some salvation in the wake of the crash, and he's sitting in a pew, and he hears this uncontrollable sobbing, and he looks over, and Ozzy, the Prince of Darkness, is also at the church, weeping uncontrollably. And that, my friends, is Scene.
Yeah.
I'll play Randy.
Oh.
Hey, this plane rides a real crazy train. Whoa! Kaboom.
We're into rewrites.
All right. Rocky Suarez was a can-do pilot with a little bit of a grudge. She wanted to kill the old man. Sex reversal, right?
She liked to grab the stick, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. In my world, the woman's the alpha. Domineering. Take control, lady. All right, so we'll be back in just a moment. We'll talk about the sports and everything that happened. We'll do that in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub. Essential Sports Hub headline presented. sure.
No idea what you're talking about.
Here's more of The Thing on the Sports Hub.
All right, we are Toucher and Hardy. Hardy, what happened last evening in the world of music? Not music. I was just overwhelmed with this song. What happened in the world of sports?
There was a baseball game last night. Now, the Dodgers are in Los Angeles now, and they had to fly all the way to Milwaukee to play the Brewers. I've been there for a long time. These are one of the last teams standing, you understand, in the Major League Baseball's season. We're into the playoffs now, John.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So the Dodgers, as the visitors, they won the first game. Even though it was in Milwaukee, they still won. Last night, Milwaukee, they said, all right, enough of that. And they scored first. They scored a run in the bottom of the first inning. Unfortunately, the Dodgers had more chances to score runs.
The game isn't one inning long.
As early as the second inning, the Dodgers got another chance.
A payoff from Peralta. Hernandez lifts one high in the air. Left field, drifting back. This ball is gone. Teo ties it up with a solo home run to left field.
Now that made it 1-1. Let's jump to the top of the sixth. Dodgers once again at the plate.
He's waiting on one of those big Max Muncy swings. Another 3-2 pitch on the way. Muncy hits one in the air. Center field. Frelick, he is at the wall. This ball is out of here. There's that big swing.
Yeah, he knew it was happening. They weren't done in the sixth. Shohei Ohtani, who's had a bit of a quiet postseason.
Most times it's a quiet postseason for Shohei, unfortunately.
Yeah,
yes.
and this isn't what people bought their tickets for. If you were there to see, like real explosions off the bat, but I'm sure Dodgers fans will take it.
Kike on third, one out in the seventh. Another 2-2. Ground ball, base hit right field. Kike trots home. Ohtani with an RBI base hit to announce himself to the championship series. 4-1 LA.
He's hitting 147 in the
It's not great.
postseason. No, he's 3 for his last 29, including that hit.
But that RBI single gave the Dodgers.
Where else can they make up for that in the order?
I know. I know. That speaks volumes about the payroll. Is that Ohtani, who's the best baseball player on the planet right now, is the hitting version of Clayton Kershaw, and they're still winning championships.
And also with the money that they have in the access to Japanese players.
Yeah, that doesn't hurt.
An uncontrolled budget with, uncontrolled free agency and no cap. It's a real triumph for the Dodgers. It's funny hearing like ESPN talk about it too, like it's really like a game. Just, wow, I don't know. Like, the Yamamoto was able to go a complete game, which is rare and nice, but it's hard to, you're going to feign like this is a surprise. I mean, the payroll's ridiculous. That's just the way I look at it, is that it's almost good that the Dodgers are winning because at least people can't point to the Brewers and go, see.
Yeah.
No, there's a huge problem. And you can pretend it's not there, but it is. So,
Yep.
Congratulations. I'm sure the nation will get swept up with Dodger mania.
Yeah. And Yamamoto is over $300 million contract. He's only making $20 million a year this year. But the guy who's pitching tonight, $32 million. The guy who pitched game one, $29 million. I mean, it's crazy.
I mean, they make the Yankees look like a small market team.
Pitching tomorrow night. Yeah. Yankees are, yeah. We could go on and on and on. We're going to have a salary cap in baseball. It's going to be a little more than a year from now when it happens.
I would hope so because I like baseball. It just, you can't crap on 80% of the country. But the owners could pay money. They're being cheap. Yeah, but they're not. So you got to do something. I've had it with people pretending that problems don't exist. But nothing. But the game's going to fail if in, 60% of the markets there's absolutely no chance except for whenever that magical wheel spins around and you get that 2-year window where everything's cost controlled. You have to operate under such a different set of rules than everyone else. Like, you have to draft perfectly, you have to develop perfectly, and then in that window where it's all still cost controlled, you get that little bit of time. The amount of wiggle room that the Dodgers and Yankees and these teams have. Every offseason, they just buy a new team.
Dodgers payroll. You want to guess what the Dodgers payroll is this year?
Is it $450 million?
No, it's less.
I just saw when we talked about this like a week or two ago, 330.
350.
Okay, but I'm going to ask you this. If it was in real dollars, not spread out over a long time, what would it be?
Active. I have active, which is 268.
Yeah, I would like to know what the payroll is if you scrunched everything up until the years they're actually going to be playing for the team.
Yeah, if you didn't have Ohtani's spread, and the $700 million spread out over 20 years.
Yeah, maybe that would be a good rule to get in place right away, that you couldn't do that.
Yeah.
They did it in hockey.
Exactly.
Right.
So just do it right away. That I think everyone could agree on.
Who was it? Ilya Kovalchev, who had tried to sign a 15-year deal.
Yeah,
and he was going to be making
$4 in year 15.
Well, it was down to like
that.
$200,000 in the last 4 years of the deal or something,
Yeah.
and they're like, no, you can't do this. No.
And that's a sport where Winnipeg could challenge for a cup. In the NFL, Green Bay. I mean, these markets that in baseball wouldn't even exist. That's good. You have to have an equal playing field, at least a semblance of an equal playing field.
Well, the Red Sox will have a chance. By the way, the Dodgers now go home up 2-0 in the series, and the Mariners host Toronto tonight. They are up 2-0 in their series. But the Red Sox may not have to worry about paying one player next year, as news was broken on the Joe Show last night.
All right, Alex Bregman will be opting out of his contract with the Boston Red Sox. This is per John Heyman of the New York Post. Of course, Alex Bregman had 2 years remaining at $80 million. Some of that money, of course, is deferred, but Alex Bregman, who's coming off a 273 season, will opt out of his contract, according to John Heyman.
Thank you, Joe, for that. And a little bit later on in the Joe Show, you would think that you'd be able to sprinkle this into the headlines, but I don't know what happened.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
I'm going to say it was a mix between ranch and blue cheese, so we'll call it Blanche. I got nothing. Headlines, they are brought to you by Valvoline. It's an oil change. The official oil change.
John, take notes. Okay. It's really just an excuse to get a sponsor in. So you're just sitting here bothering yourself with these headlines, writing them out and getting audio.
My fault.
I mean, their internet does exist.
Yep.
Joe's getting right back to the content. Ranch or blue cheese? That's it's a wing conversation. They have it.
Are you asking me?
They have it once a week. They have a 6-hour debate on what you like to dip your. Yeah, once a week. For that week they crown the champion. Sometimes it can be a mix. It's got a very very Callahan situation where there's a lot of variables. With the 3-line nonsense. That was a real mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But and congratulations, John has achieved 3 points.
Yeah.
But if we were going to feign as if the scoring mattered, now
no,
it throws things into a bit of
the best part of the
It would only matter if I were leading. And then I would be like, what are we doing it for? But I'm with you, Fred. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. The best part of the whole thing was Callahan came in with his backup, came in admitting he was wrong, came in saying I'm in trouble.
No, he came in with his tail tucked.
Yeah.
He was skittish.
He got
very much.
He got too into the weeds with it. He just needed to step back and just go. He had a good thing going, and just let things lie. He got too clever with the whole thing and kind of screwed everything up. So, my advice to people is: you got a good thing going. Small tweaks. Don't go trying to reinvent the wheel 1 year into the thing. But he's a novice. He brought in a really good idea. We executed it brilliantly. But then he spent too much time with it. You got to step away with it sometimes. Stop fiddling with it. Let nature take its course.
You got John Bonet with it.
All right. Okay.
I've never said it on the air. I don't think I ever will. But I've told you what it means.
Yeah.
I don't think I should.
No, you shouldn't.
Okay.
All right. We'll be back in just a moment. Joe Missoula's in good spirits. We'll have that for you.
You're listening to and Hardy, Zolak and Bertrand, Felger and Maz, Joe Murray. For Boston sports fans, it's 98.5, the Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines, presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Patriots have won 3 straight games. They'll be back at practice today to begin their journey towards another road game this Sunday against Tennessee. Red Sox third baseman Alex Bregman is indeed opting out of his 3-year, $120 million contract after one season. He's going to become a free agent. Sox Director of National Scouting, Devin Pearson, is leaving the organization. He's going to be the new assistant GM of the Washington Nationals. And Sox bench coach Ramon Vasquez has been granted permission to speak to Minnesota about their managerial vacancy. Dodgers won in Milwaukee again 5-1. They lead the National League Championship Series 2-0. Celtics wrap up their preseason tonight at TD Garden against Toronto. Granny and Max had the call at 7:30 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Dallas has signed head coach Jason Kidd to a multi-year contract extension. And President Donald Trump said yesterday he's thinking about moving the 7 World Cup matches out of Gillette Stadium because of what he believes are problems in the city of Boston, which is one of the host cities for the event next summer. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Best Ford of Nashua. Looking for great deals on a new Ford? Go to the best first. Best Ford in Nashua. Head to bestford.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7:30.
Get
There's the potential there for big stuff.
98.5 The Sports Hub app. Get the app. Toucher and Hardy.
Such an fantastic explosion.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
We are Toucher and Hardy. You can watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. And, John, how many days are there until the Celtics season starts?
7, week from tonight.
A week from tonight, the Celtics season starts. Hardy's good friend, Missoula, is the coach. And they had the annual, it's usually a press game for the Celtics media. Is this the one that Maz ripped his Achilles on?
I thought that was the Globetrotters.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but I think that was the Globetrotter
No,
game.
Maz ruptured his Achilles in a charity game. It was Dana Barrow's thing. I don't know if it was like at his center down there in Easton or wherever, but it was, I think he was trying to cross him over.
Okay.
Yeah, I give people a lot of credit for playing in these games because it just seems like an act generally of humiliation because you're on a pro court without pro skills. I don't know how you just rip your Achilles just playing basketball. But it's no one's fault. It's not, I don't think, from a lack of being in shape or something. I mean, Tatum ripped his Achilles.
Well, in the case of some people like Gabe Kapler, he was in too good a shape. You know, the muscles were putting too much tension on that tendon.
Well, that happened to the guy from the O'Neal, the guy from the Cardinals that played for the Red Sox for a while. He was considered too buff. What's happening to him now? The outfielder, O'Neal. He played for the Red Sox.
Oh, yeah, that guy. I think he went to Baltimore. He signed a free agent contract with Baltimore, and guess what happened in April?
He got hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was all ripped.
Yep.
That was a big problem. He won a Gold Glove, by the way, which was very well deserved.
Wasn't available for a lot of the season.
Tyler O'Neill.
Yeah, he's from Canada. Oh.
Yeah, he's jacked. He's got a big tat on his forearm, a whole piece. So Missoula, though, said, no. We're not going to do the press versus press. We're going to do coaches versus press, but I am going to press you in this game.
Zach Cox, who writes for the Boston Herald, was there, played in the game, and he posted an article about it this morning. They pressed the coaches pressed the entire game. They trapped at half court. They were relentless. And when I say the entire game the game itself, coaches versus media, was 12 minutes. And the final score is 57-4.
That hardly seems fair.
So, and Missoula didn't play.
He did play.
He did play.
He did play.
Okay, and so was he? It's supposed to be funny.
I don't know what it was.
Well, he when he broke the news, he did not laugh when he said it.
No,
but I don't want to break it to you, but you're not playing against each other. You're playing against the coaches.
Oh no! And he walked away. And then they got out there, and 12 minutes later, they were humiliated and went home.
So what is the point of that?
Well, apparently, I'm reading this article. There was the media game after they played the coaches. They got their media versus media game after they got humiliated.
Right.
So,
So
I
the
don't
idea
know,
was that we're better at basketball than you, so watch your step.
Or it's just thinking here, or it's the next time you criticize us, realize that we're far better at this than you.
Well, that's what I was just saying. Is that
Yeah.
you're saying that we're playing at you at basketball and you watch your step because we know way more about.
Yeah.
We're better at basketball than you.
And he's kind of got it in for the media already this year. He thinks they've got it too easy.
Questions? Guys got new chairs? Anything for you guys to be comfortable, huh? You need armrest now? Unbelievable.
You see, sometimes I think he's being funny.
That wasn't one of those times.
I
do
thought
think
that
he's
one was.
I saw the video of that. That wasn't one of those
Yeah,
times.
but I think he's being sarcastic, like he's being a straight man. I don't know. He's a very bizarre human being. Hardy speaks so glowingly about him that I assume that some of this is an act. But I don't really understand the point of playing the press and you beat them. And it has been established that you are the alphas on the court of basketball. But I don't really know how that does anything. I don't know how that's satisfaction. Like, if you're an assistant coach for the Celtics, are you under that much of a microscope that you figure that the press has been so incredibly unfair to you? Missoula, I understand, because he has to face them every day. But if I'm some strength and conditioning coach, what the hell do I care what anyone in the media says about anything? Is he a happy man? Do you think Missoula's a happy man? Because this seems like the behavior of someone who's decidedly unhappy.
Okay, so you just said that there has to be something about him, because I do like him. I do like talking to him.
Yeah, you do. You broke bread. You ordered for the table.
Yeah.
Alpha.
Yeah. He is a different guy. And we all have friends that are just somehow different. Now, the people that we are closest to, I think we have a kinship with and we have a similar mindset. But there are people in your life whom you enjoy them and you enjoy their company, but there's very little understanding of them. Like, that guy is just wired differently.
Well,
he's different.
Missoula, to me, seems like someone who read the material wrong in some occasions. Like, he obviously has got a lot of rehab stuff going on. I don't know his backstory, but there is a lot of crossover rehab stuff, philosophical and things like that. I mean, anyone could see in some of the things he says.
Yeah, and a lot of that stuff is universal. You talk about some of the tenets you learn, whether it's in rehab or whether it's if you undergo a religious transformation.
Right, it's like Eastern philosophy and stuff like that.
There's a lot of stuff. So where it came from, I don't know.
No,
but yes, I pick up on some of that stuff.
Well,
too.
all I'm saying is that there's a crossover with rehab stuff. I'm not saying he was in rehab or that he had any kind of chemical issue. Obviously, I'm not saying that. I'm there's a lot of rehab stuff. But as I get older and the more of this I'm exposed to, a lot of this is letting go. A lot of this Eastern philosophy is letting go, not being judgmental, kind of living your own life. And he seems to have taken this information and decided that I got to be friends with a push hands master and walk a full 3 miles in the jungle without shoes.
I'd like to see you do it.
I'm fairly confident I could do it.
Well,
I don't know if I could learn
I'm sure
to
those
surf.
guys thought they could play basketball yesterday, too.
I don't remember which one of it was you, Hardy, or it was John, but you had said Jay King, was he part of it yesterday? He literally just tweeted, I wrote about the most humiliating loss.
I'm
of
reading
my life.
it, right?
Are you reading
Yeah.
it? Okay, good.
Yeah,
I put it
yeah.
in the rundown.
So
John.
now there's a falling on the sword of the media of acknowledging that they got beat this badly, in this kind of, surrendering the alpha title to the coaches.
To the coaches who all played college and or professional basketball?
Right. So what they needed to do is there a big basketball writer, like a guy who's physically large? Because you just start throwing elbows. I mean, at a certain point, if you're going to try to humiliate me, I'm going to have to start expressing myself physically.
Well, B-Rob has very bony elbows. I think they would hurt.
Yeah, but then you got a whole situation where they got to, fix him up, and then he gets sold to another family, and then he ends up on some adventure where he's taken on the dark side. So you can't have that. He talks in a series of bleeps and bloops. You wouldn't know what he was saying.
Jay King is a big guy, isn't he? He sounds big.
He is.
I'm talking about not even a guy that's like a basketball player. I'm talking about just a man who's physically imposing, like a cameraman or something like that.
Right. Get like Moose out there.
Yeah, like a 300-pound guy. Start taking out knees.
Yeah.
Because that would make things that would actually be pretty interesting.
They should have had Glenn and Moose playing the post.
Like but seriously, if there's like a game and they're up like 50, and everyone's like kind of like eyeballing you, and Missoula's like yelling out signs and being all serious, and you just take his legs out, and he hits his head on the court. Like he goes to like humiliate you, and you go low, and you rip his legs up. I know this is not push hands rules, and then he comes down face first onto the court, and everyone goes like ooh, and like blood trickles from his mouth. Where does the attitude of this thing go at that point? Because you've kind of evened the score. Like, you are going out here to humiliate us through physical efforts, and now I've taken offense to it, and now you're injured, and now you're laying prone on the floor due to something I did. Now they're kind of – how do you think that would be handled? Because you'd have to write like it was really bad and it was unfair, but do you think in any way that, like, evens kind of the thing? Like, you are doing this exercise to make me look bad. Now I've turned around and harmed you physically. Does that kind of even everything out at that point?
I would think so, but they could have gone a different route. I think they could have gone the meatballs route, where they're Camp North Star is getting humiliated by Camp Mohawk. So at the end of the game, you just pull the shorts down of all the opposing
lose,
players.
but lose with dignity.
That's right. And then you all run to the buses.
Yeah.
And you get out of there.
Because instead of writing the article about like, oh boy, like, joke's on us, like, we're owning it, you go out there and someone gets hurt. I wonder if how that would sway the whole trajectory. Like, now we're the media who's capable of hurting you physically. So what are we going to do? Because Missoula can't go up and go like, you were mean to me and you hurt me. He's got to act like, that, okay, like, I love this.
Probably knowing Joe, not as well as Hardy, but knowing Joe, he'd probably have some respect for the pushback.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
He talks about fighting all the time. He talked about in a recent interview, everybody in their life is fighting something. They're either, physically fighting, or they're in a fight with their boss, or they're fighting an addiction. It's all about the fight.
Right. So if if his jaw was wired shut, like for the rest of the season, and he couldn't talk, who wins?
He'd be fighting the straw.
Because you as the person who was humiliated in the game, you got to write the article about like, oh, look, I own it. Like, how silly we were humiliated. And Missoula gets that little boost of like showing you what went on. But if you had harmed him physically, he, by nature of his way he plays things, he can't play the victim. He can't press charges. They can't like take away your press credential because he's this warrior mentality guy, right? So at that point, does he have to kind of like lay himself at the feet of the media because you successfully hurt him?
That is the daydream, isn't it?
Well, I'm just thinking at a certain point, like if you just had just because you're a cameraman doesn't mean you're not a psycho. You could be way more psycho than anyone playing basketball. I mean, there comes a point where your mental illness is the real key contributor. Like, you're still in a basketball game playing by a set of rules, right? Mm-hmm. Like you guys are important and we're not, and we're playing by this set of rules. But if you just have some wild card that's out there that says, I don't like this and I'm going to physically take it out on you, by Missoula's characteristics and his attitude and his dogma, he would have to respect that, correct? And wouldn't you then be the alpha because you hurt him? Now he's come up lame. He's the part of the pack that is now injured. You are the one that injured him. Thereby, you are the king of the pack, correct?
You would either have to do it that way, or you would have to turn the tables on them entirely and challenge them to a 10-minute, 500-word essay contest.
There you go.
All right, you just beat us at basketball.
There you go.
Now you
have a seat.
Now you have 10 minutes to give me 1,000 words on a current event.
You can sit in the chairs with armrests. Let's see how you do.
Here's my suggestion for the media: is that next year hire a ringer. Oh, what are you with Fred? Like a and one guy or something? Like the professor? No. I mean, like just someone from a mental institution. And get them out there. And listen, I mean, the media, it's not all writers and on-air people, right? It's like behind-the-scenes people, too.
This was just writers, apparently. The people that are
How did they get enough writers to play a game of basketball? How many writers are there? No one has any money.
I don't know.
I mean, how many writers can be out there playing basketball? There's like 5 media outlets. Would they get 12 guys? No, there's got to be. So they don't let behind-the-scenes people play. That's anti-ethical of Missoula. You got to have the behind-the-scenes guy.
Reading these 2 articles, one from Zach Cox and one from Jay King, they mention writers for websites, CNLS Media, the Herald, the Globe. I mean, they don't mention cameramen or anything like that. I'm sure they might be missing a few people, but it sounds like just writers.
Fred, you could probably hook him up with a couple of people. You took some phone numbers and some contacts. Your time in the booby hatch.
You see where I'm going. I could be that guy. I know some real psychos. I do. I know people that scare me. I know people. They scare me so much I'm not even getting any particulars. But I know people that, yeah. Oh, yeah. As a matter of fact. Oh, yeah. And they would gladly do it, too. I don't know if they would have the balls to go hurt the guy, but they would certainly go through the machinations of getting into the game.
Yeah, you walk out there, they haven't taken a shower in like 3 days.
I mean, there's people that tell stories that you're like, I don't know what if this is true. So,
it's the type of crazy, too, where it's like not a lot of explanation would be necessary. Hey, I need you to be at the Garden at 2:30 on a random Tuesday to hurt some people. Okay.
Yeah. I show up with the New Balance mall walkers.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm as close to certain as I possibly could be that I know people that you could just be like, be at the Garden, da-da-da-da, and they'd be like, okay. And then you would get there. Now, would they have the follow-through? Would they have
Bird might be one of them.
Do they have the follow-through to actually deliver the physical pain?
Anywho.
I'm 50-50 on not even having to tell them what to do, that they would do it, just based on the act of being humiliated in like the fight or flight, that they would then do that. Do you understand what I'm saying, or is this too conceptual?
No.
I get it. I get it.
The bad people come, they end up taking her, and
Well, that's more stupidity than being a psycho. Tony, go ahead.
Hey, so I think he kind of did that, Mazzullo, on twofold, right? Yes, to stick it to the media, to say, I'm the guy in charge here, no matter what you guys say, we're still the professionals here. But I think the bigger message is, I think he did it for his team. I think he did it for, hey, it's us against them, and let's go show them something. And I think he is a player's coach. I don't think he has all the X's and O's all the times, but I think he is a player's coach. And when they were just bombing threes left and right, that was almost a, hey, media, this is the way we play, and this is the way my team's going to play, no matter what you guys say. We're just going to keep bombing.
I understand that, but what do you think of if they like took one of the guy's legs out and he ended up having to go to the hospital? Do you think that evens things at all?
No, I agree. I know what you're saying. I'm not saying that he's not nuts for doing what he did.
No.
In Missoula's mind, I think that's like, well done.
Yes,
well played.
I think like checkmate. You kind of got me.
Yeah.
Like we tried to pull something on you. You didn't take it. Now I'm really injured. And I'm not saying like if you just ran up at a press conference and hit him, you're going to jail. But I'm talking about in a physical activity, like where there's pushing and shoving. Because I have to imagine the coaches are pushing and shoving. I can't imagine that they went and they said, don't touch the media.
It seems, reading this, that it was full-on battle.
Right.
Yeah.
So someone's boxing you out, and you just throw an elbow and take their teeth out. Like, I mean, I just wondering if we're going to go through this whole exercise, if I take it to the point, like Lambeer style, if I take it to this crazy point, if you want to push this issue so much that I'm going to up the ante and checkmate your ass, and we're going to get into physical. I have a psycho that's going to get into a physical altercation with you. I wonder how that plays out in the whole warrior mentality Missoula situation. All I'm saying is that next year, invite me. I'm not going to play. I'm too frail a man to participate in this. But if you need a couple wild cards,
just make sure I have a +1.
Yes. It's funny that you mentioned that because I know at least 2 people that I could probably be like, hey, and not even say anything. Just go like, hey, like you said, just go to the Brighton. They're going to play in this basketball game. Okay.
And I need you to hurt the guys in the white shirts.
No, don't even say that. But just the minute that they start getting pushed, there comes that fight or flight like psycho thing where they start going bananas.
Good. All right.
People with very shady backgrounds. I mean, seriously, you wouldn't want them in your home. I don't. I find no doubt about it. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. What is going on in North Carolina? We have to talk about Belichick every day, but this is not us talking about it. We have someone who actually covers the North Carolina football program. We will talk to him in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hunt.
Statistically, UNC has gone from a perennial bowl contender to statistically one of the worst teams in college football right now. And people in this building are upset. Fans are upset. The people that brought you here stuck their necks out to bring you here. I mean, can you acknowledge, you're telling me that you believe this process is working?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a learning curve. We're all in it together. But we're making a lot of progress, and the process will eventually produce the results that we want to produce, like they have everywhere else I've been. So I'm very confident in that. Players are working hard, they're getting better, and we're going to continue to do that and improve.
I had more people send me that pictures or video of the guy's yard where he has all the skeletons doing the Belichick selfies that he's done with Jordan.
Yeah.
There's the fisherman one and the yoga one. It's a brilliant Halloween thing. I do like that locally with some people I'm associated with this Belichick story so intimately because I have to insert myself in these things. But we've talked so much about Bill Belichick from a distance and this wonderful, wonderful situation that he's gotten himself into. What is we need feet on the ground. We need people that are around the program of North Carolina. What do we know about college football or the North Carolina as an institution, a state, a public university? What do we know? So let's bring in an expert. Pat Welter is a sports reporter for WRAL TV in Raleigh, and he is kind enough to join us. Pat, hello.
Good morning. Yeah, great to be on with you guys. I am a North Carolina transplant, Londonderry native. Grew up watching Bill Belichick and the Patriots since 2001, and then happened to have him come meet me down here. Last year was kind of a full circle moment, and I knew it was going to be crazy. I knew the coverage had a chance to, gain national attention. I had no idea it would ever become this. This has been crazier than I ever could have imagined.
What did you and like some of the other people already covering the team think initially about the hiring? Because obviously he was trying to get back in the NFL. He ended up there in North Carolina. What were the initial expectations and the initial thoughts?
Yeah, I still remember when the name first got floated, and it was like, oh, come on. The initial Twitter reports were like, he's just using this as leverage to try to get an NFL job. And then I remember being at a Carolina basketball game and, just kind of walking around the baseline. All the movers and shakers within Carolina athletics are there. And a source told me, no, it's real. And from then on, I was kind of like, whether I think this is a good idea or a bad idea, I'm going to cover the heck out of this because this is one of the most interesting things I've ever seen. Bill Belichick, the most pro-central coach, the least warm and fuzzy coach you can imagine, is going to come here to wine and cheese Carolina, where you have the whole thing is a schmooze fest. And he's going to have to work parents and coaches and donors and recruit. Okay, we'll see. We knew it had a high ceiling. We knew it had a really low floor. And, for me, like the makings of this story began in the spring when I started to hear rumblings that just things were very disorganized and people weren't necessarily being treated the way they wanted and communication was poor, that I started to kind of raise my eyebrow and dig into it more. But, there was a lot of hype. Who was I to poo-poo it then? And I heard people saying that Bill was still a great coach. So I kind of sat back. But then once things started going poorly to start the season, I started talking to more and more people. And right before the Clemson game is when I knew I had the story and put the finishing touches on it. After that loss last weekend.
Obviously, there's a lot to unpack there, but I just want to know, you were saying warm and fuzzy. I mean, he, as you well know, was not warm and fuzzy during his tenure up here. How has he handled the media, for lack of a better phrase, the college football media down there?
Yeah, well, you heard the interaction we just had there. And yeah, I'm not going to lie. I was nervous given the reporting I had done and others last week, what he would be like in the press conference. And I was really ready for anything. To his credit, he's been pretty cordial. If you ask him a specific matchup question or something hypothetical, he will downplay it. He kind of sticks to the script, but he'll indulge you every once in a while. If you try to give him with a gotcha question, instead of being jerky to you, he kind of has this thing now where he just does a one-liner to kind of diffuse it. And that started in the initial press conference when I tried to kind of press him in his introduction way back in December, which was, Bill, what do you say to all the people that think you're coming here just to build your resume to go right back to the NFL? And he said, real quick, I didn't come here to leave. So that was his intentions from day one, at least from what he told us, was to build something here. I'm not sure I completely buy that. I did think, and I didn't necessarily know this, but just I did think he was coming here to try to rebuild his reputation to go back to the NFL. I think he probably thought it was going to work, right? Like that was one of the questions. That was the answer to the question, right? Right? It's a process. It's worked everywhere he's ever been, is what he said on Monday. So why wouldn't it work here? So he thought it was going to work. It has been a spectacular failure. And, he said they're improving on Monday. On the field so far, we haven't seen it. So that's great to go out there on the podium on Monday, respond to all the reports that you're not leaving, that you think your locker room is fine, and that this team is getting better. But they've been uncompetitive in Power 4 football. That's not me saying that. That's a statistical fact. And, right now it's going to be an uphill battle to win another game. So if they are, quote, improving, we need to see it Friday night at Cal.
Okay, so, he brought his kids in. He brought Mike Lombardi in. And Mike Lombardi is, in my opinion, a real moron from before North Carolina. He's a failure. But he did manage to stay friends with Bill Belichick. He is kind of the point guy on this recruiting. He is their GM. What are you hearing about Mike Lombardi?
Yeah, with the words that get thrown around a lot, rude, nasty, no access. You basically, if players want to get to them and talk about their contract, he essentially avoids it entirely. I know he's not been very accessible to the media. I thought he might be more, just given his, history as a podcaster. I actually really enjoyed some of his work as a media personality. I think a lot falls there, right? Like this guy makes $1.5 million a year. One of, if not the highest paid GMs in all of college football, comes in here is part of the messaging as far as being the 33rd NFL team, and had a degree of hubris in how confident they were and how they were going to reshape this roster, how they were going to divvy out contracts. And you just look at it, you brought in 70 new players, and there are quotes out there now from others around the country, from NFL scouts, that there isn't an NFL player on this entire roster. So either they failed as far as who they brought in, or they failed in the development, or they have failed in both. And I think one thing that was interesting Monday, that the only really point that Belichick admitted a mistake on in their process was in the early transfer portal and in the early levels of recruiting, where he basically said, and you can kind of look at the list of guys they brought in to see this, that they were bringing in basically bargain barrel players. And I would say, okay, I get it that maybe it wasn't a good moment in the portal. You're coming in behind the 8 ball. But every coach that gets hired in December is in that same spot. And you guys are not just struggling. You're like 133 out of all the teams in, 134, 136 in FBS. So, you know what I mean? Like, that's where the excuse lays a little flat. So certainly a lot of this falls on Lombardi. And so far, and you guys know this, covering pro sports, covering the Patriots, like when things are this bad, typically a change is made, a staff change, something. So far, all we have is a suspended assistant coach, which was in result to some of our reporting about extra benefits being divvied out. But like Michael Lombardi, his current time, still has a job. And yeah, the seat is definitely hot.
Okay, so you talked about the wine and cheese crowd of North Carolina. From a distance, it seems like North Carolina is, I just know from White Lotus, is a very proud university, that it's a very good academic university, but it also has very successful alumni. You understand, I guess, why you hire Belichick, but given all the controversy this, offseason not related to football, and given his lifestyle and, he wasn't around during the bye week, given all this stuff, how is the alumni and the boosters of North Carolina feeling about this whole process?
Yeah, I talked to a donor yesterday. I talked to different levels of decision makers within UNC athletics. I think it's almost like a disbelief that it's been this bad. Like it's almost like a disconnect that like it can't possibly be this bad. It can't possibly stay this bad. But what I'm hearing about this actual structure of the program from people inside of it is that it is this bad, and that those results on the field are a direct result of kind of the disorganization, the lack of communication, and the lack of just college experience from this Bill Belichick staff. So, I think there's a degree of, hey, we made a really big investment here. I mean, this hire was driven in a lot of ways from the beginning by a member of the board of trustees, John Pryor, who gets the chancellor on board, who then makes the hire. At the press conference on Monday, there's kind of a show of unity, or maybe a show of, hey, we're serious now. Let's get this back on track. Because in the press conference, you see Chancellor Lee Roberts, you see Athletic Director Bubba Cunningham, Athletic Director in waiting Steve Newmark, the head of communications for the entire university, Mike Lombardi, is standing there. So at a minimum, what I did and others around the country did last week was try to hold these guys accountable, because this isn't a pro sports team. This is a university that has alumni all over the country. You're a state employee. You're the highest state and paid employee. You have a color that is iconic, that means something to so many people around the country. And to come in here and take that huge salary, to take that good faith, to employ your friends, family, your girlfriend in a lot of ways, and to perform this poorly, I think people deserve to know why it's gone that bad then. There needs to be some sort of accountability there. And to come up in these press conferences and just say that everything's fine every time, just people are owed more, and I think that what I've tried to do is show what's happening a little bit. Because, you have people that stuck their necks out to bring them here. As I asked that question, you have kids that turn down other opportunities to come here and get developed for the NFL. And when you have quotes like that there's not a single NFL player on the roster, then that's letting those kids down. And that's hard. They only have so many years of eligibility. So
Lombardi's an idiot because he sent that thing out to boosters about how crappy the roster was, in which I'd be concerned if I was one of the 70 kids that came in, but I'm being dismissed as just a stopgap. And I don't know what he was thinking, putting that in writing and sending it out as if that was just going to be kept between him and the numerous people that he sent it to. That was ridiculous. I mean, he's a fool. I find it challenging that you've liked him on media, but I will leave that off the table.
Any pushback at all, by the way, or do you expect any pushback the next time you show up at a Belichick press conference?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm going to one later today, but it'll be for Steve Belichick. Kind of the assistants talk today, a couple more of the players. It'll probably be never more of a weird feeling than it was on Monday, right? Because that was my first chance to see him in person since our first report broke last Monday. I have to give a lot of credit to Carolina on how they've dealt with this. Like, they have tried to work with me, from their PR staff to, people.
What about Jordan? Is she working with you?
I've never really known how to handle that story, to be honest with you guys. Like, I met her early on at a basketball game. She shook my hand. We talked for a second. I told her where I was from, that I'm from the Northeast. I'm from Londonderry. I think she had a relative that went there. So we kind of talked about that for a second, and she seemed like an intelligent person, So I've kind of stayed a little bit away from that, but she's still around. Certainly, like, the craziness of that story has died down significantly. Like,
well, because he's such a failure on the field, right? But do you have to go through her to cover the team? Like, how much of a gatekeeper is she for him?
No, she's not. And maybe early on there certainly seemed to be more of that, her role in the PR. Like, we had done public records requests, so had others, to kind of get a window into that. But after that CBS interview kind of went viral, that's when they brought in another PR person to specifically handle Bill Belichick. And an interesting anecdote, I did have, I noticed we got 10 minutes of practice. You guys remember this from the Patriots, right? What you got at practice in fall camp was nothing. We would see them stretch. We would see a quarterback maybe take a throw, usually just take a snap. You would see absolutely nothing. But what I did see was Jordan Hudson there standing around holding what looked like a clipboard. And I wasn't trying to imply that she was coaching. I was just trying to imply what I saw, which was, Jordan Hudson was at practice today. I tweeted it out. Well, I got a note later on that day that she was there, yes. It was not a clipboard. It was an iPad. So the optics were very important there. They didn't want it to make it sound like she was coaching by holding a clipboard.
Yeah, because everyone would assume she's coaching. What she was doing was she was organizing for the big documentary that's coming out very soon. All right. Well, Pat Welter, congratulations on the success. And what a gift handed to you with this Belichick thing. You're handling it very well. WRAL TV in Raleigh. Thank you, Pat. We appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on. This is Dream. I grew up listening to Boston Sports Talk, so an honor to be on. And, yeah, the story is far from done. We got a lot of the season left. And as of today, Bill Belichick still coaching, so I'm going to stick with it.
All right. Thank you, Pat. We appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Pat.
With Franklin being fired in Penn State and them doing that payout, I wonder how much that's going to push things at North Carolina. Because, I mean, 39, 49, whatever the hell amount of money it was for Franklin, I wonder if that's going to push things a little bit in North Carolina. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
The 4-2 New England Patriots get back to practice this afternoon. They'll visit Nashville, Tennessee to play the Titans this Sunday. MLB Network and others reported last night that the Red Sox Alex Bregman does indeed plan to opt out of his contract and become a free agent. Sox Director of National Scouting David Pearson is leaving the organization to become the new assistant GM of the Washington Nationals. And Sox bench coach Ramon Vasquez has been granted permission to speak to Minnesota about their managing vacancy. Last night, the Dodgers beat Milwaukee 5-1. They have a 2-0 lead in the National League Championship Series. And the Celtics will wrap up their preseason tonight at TD Garden against Toronto. Granding and Max have the call at 7:30 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. The regular season begins a week from tonight at home against Philadelphia. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Dr. Matthew Lopresti and Leonard Hair Transplant Associates, the hair doctor of Hardy, Rob Ninkovich, and Kristen Fourier. Call 1-800-GET-HAIR for your free consultation. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8 o'clock.
Tuncher and Hardy, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
brains.
Bad brains. RAR session. RAR. We are Toucher and Hardy. And
you see that out there, friend?
The sun is out.
The sun is out.
Now we gotta put together. I was driving to get one of my kids, probably my daughter, since my son drives. But I was going and I passed by one of the parks in Newton where they have and I saw a bunch of traffic. Usually I take my dog there, but it's too wet. I already had to bathe the animal this weekend, and I went by the park and it's still as crowded as ever with people for that Adam 12 activity, that tote bag and
farmer's market.
Farmer's market.
Yeah.
They have like 5 booths, but yet there are hundreds of cars and people walking in the middle of the road defiantly. They hate cars, even though they drove one there. More often than not, a Prius. They would. They are because the Tesla's out of reach.
You should come to Natick Center on Saturdays, man. It's twice as bad. They got about 30 of those booths.
Well, I would imagine I don't imagine they're geographically limited to just the city that they live in. I would imagine this is a traveling circus of some sort. But they go and they defiantly walk in the middle of the road and they eyeball you like, what are you going to do about it? And the answer is nothing. You've got the tote bag. You've got the power. They will wait a couple days for a parking spot. Doesn't matter the amount of traffic that accumulates behind them. That one spot on the side of the road is the only spot that there is. And they'll sit there. Mm-hmm. Now, is it easy for them to parallel park? Of course not. Is it going to take a few tries? Yes. Is it going to be a situation of now would be the time I get by you, not so fast, here I come. I'm very focused on getting this car in. I need to get my tote bag full. I need to go to, I don't even know what they sell. One guy has fish.
Yeah.
So he's a local fisherman, I would imagine.
Fishmonger.
But then there are, I don't even know what the other people sell.
Usually it's local farms coming to sell fresh produce.
Yes. There are guys who sell bread. There are guys who sell brisket.
Artisans as well. Honey and candles and things of that nature. If it's one of the big ones like
too,
the Natick one.
Well,
the Wakefield one is big too.
Occasionally there'll be an elderly couple jamming out. I mean, they will have plugged in.
Little live music.
Listen, they were at Newport when Dylan plugged in. They're not afraid.
It's inspirational.
Yeah, absolutely. So they'll plug in. The guy from the Bunker Hill game. What was that thing? They had that Avatar magazine. What was that? The cult that was in Cambridge. Oh, gee, or in Roxbury. The cult in the '60s. John, these are your people. They had the Avatar, the magazine. It was always obscenity charges on it. Oh boy, you guys don't even know your Boston history.
I don't know. No.
Oh boy, now I got to look it up. The Lyman or something the guy's name is. Yeah, the Avatar, the newspaper. Founded by the Lyman family, the Fort Hill community. You don't even know about that.
No, I don't know about this. This is fascinating.
Manson, people compared it to the Manson family.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Late 60s in Cambridge.
Yes.
Huh.
You were unaware, huh?
No, unaware. You wised me up.
Wow.
You see what I did, Hardy, as an outsider?
You just schooled a couple of locals is what you did.
Local yokels.
Yeah, I was listening to this thing that a listener suggested about the Manson family, and they brought in this Mel Lyman, or whatever the hell you pronounce his name. They brought him into the picture, and that this was like a counter kind of anti-establishment cult going on at the same time. Well. Look at who just ate the canary.
Well, John wouldn't know anyway. But
well, John was rubbing elbows right around. But Adam's younger than us. I mean, John's very old.
John wasn't paying attention at current events. And
John was out there. He was hustling magazines for the man. John had a very strong reaction to the Kent State situation. Very strong. It moved him in a very, very, very...
That's John Dennis PTSD. That's something different.
When I found out John Dennis went to Kent State, that was the greatest thing ever, because he was like on the side of the
No, the theory was the police shot him in the ass with a rubber bullet. That was the story.
Why? For trying to join him?
I don't know. I don't know that much.
You know, he was like the one guy that's like, I like the curfew. Makes sense. Things have gotten out of hand. These protests have gotten way out of hand. It's about time someone stepped in and started killing some kids. This is well done. If they shot him with a bullet, it's like he was trying to put on a uniform. They were like, oh, no. All right, very good.
The photo of the woman crying. You see him in the background saying, shut up, crybaby.
Just when I found out he went against that, I could just imagine him.
No free rides here, Toots. Shape up.
Out of the way, I'm late for class.
These guys got a good point. Listen, you can say it went too far, but I would say this is just retribution. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Big-time news for you.
Stay tuned for more.
time this week. Today in Foxborough, they'll visit Tennessee during the early window on Sunday. Patriots, as you know, not alone, but tied for first place in the AFC East with a record of 4-2. Red Sox third baseman Alex Bregman is indeed going to opt out of his contract after one season and become a free agent. Sox Director of National Scouting Devin Pearson is leaving the organization and become the new assistant GM of the Washington Nationals. Bench coach Ramon Vasquez has also been granted permission to speak to Minnesota about their managerial vacancy. In other baseball news, the Dodgers won in Milwaukee again 5-1. Dodgers lead the National League Championship Series 2-0. Celtics wrap up their preseason tonight at TD Garden against Toronto. This is the end of a 4-game schedule for Joe Mazzulla, but if he had his way, there wouldn't have been any schedule at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, again, at the end of the day, it's a preseason game. To me, you come in here and practice and you work. The idea is to try to make the preseason game as close to practice as you can, because you're always going through things, who's on a minutes restriction, who may be sitting out, trying to save yourselves for the regular season, all those things, which are important. But yeah, we just have like 30 practices before the game.
Sean Grandy and Cedric Maxwell have a call at 7:30 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. And President Donald Trump said yesterday he's thinking about moving the 7 World Cup games out of Gillette Stadium because of what he believes are problems in the city of Boston, which is one of the host cities for the event next year. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by John Sewer and Drain Cleaning, keeping drains flowing for homes and businesses in the greater Boston area since 1976. Go to johnsewer.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8:30.
Listen to it, laugh at it, get mad at it, agree with it, argue about it. It is Boston Sports. Boston Sports. And it is all we do. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Oh boy, I guess it's time for more Toucher and Hardy on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
We interrupt this program for breaking news.
I can't use it.
Newsflash.
We're Toucher and Hardy. You can watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. Hardy, it is time for the news.
Indeed, we got a few stories. Very quick one to start us off here. We're going to go to Gainesville, of all places. This is
Of all places, Florida.
I know, WOGX, channel 51.
Okay.
OG, I found some X. Oh, gosh, there's an X-rated film. I'm an original gangster of the X-rated scene.
This is old school, the channel Fox 51, actually in Ocala, but this story coming out of Gainesville.
Orange County firefighter arrested after allegedly dumping close to 100 tampons on her ex-boyfriend's front yard in DeLand. Gabrielle.
Whoa.
She wasn't flushing them. That's not allowed. There's signs everywhere posting, please do not flush sanitary napkins.
Tell me you're not pregnant. You don't need this anymore? It was not me. Your flow? No flow? Someone turn off flow?
Orange County firefighter arrested after allegedly dumping close to 100 tampons on her ex-boyfriend's front yard in DeLand. Gabrielle Franz is now facing 2 stalking charges. According to court documents, the new girlfriend reached out to Volusia County Sheriff deputies after Franz allegedly dumped the tampons last Monday night. Franz has since bonded out of jail.
Now, were they just like new tampons, or were they used tampons?
I knew that's where your mind would go. Apparently, they were new tampons. So I don't know what the messaging is here. You're making a symbolic gesture of some kind. I just don't know what that gesture is.
It just seems like you had a lot of tampons. First of all, we know you're not a pad girl, which brings up a lot of moral questions. And but you are. But I don't understand what if it was you saved up 100 used tampons, and then you dump them on my lawn. I don't know how many cycles 100 used tampons would be.
You see, that's interesting. You have thoughts on tampons versus pads?
No, I don't. Okay. I just, I don't have any. I just,
The pad community is angry.
No, because I mean...
I was pro-pad, so I think it would be the tampon community. And tampon's a brand name. They're.
You made it sound like you're a pro-pad. You are, in fact, not. You are neutral on this issue. But
yes.
I would not be surprised if you did have a position on that matter.
Oh, no, it's like abortion. I believe this is an issue for women to decide. I don't believe it's my place as a man to get involved in the tampon versus pad issue.
Look at you. You're learning.
He's
Attaboy.
evolving.
Attaboy.
I think I've been fairly consistent on my take on that. I think that's
no, I think you've waffled quite a bit.
I think I'm pretty consistent on my knowing where
12,
where I don't belong.
Get the tapes, 12.
Exactly.
I would think one of my strengths is knowing sometimes when I shouldn't be involved. I don't need to be involved in everything. And that is what I feel on women's issues. I don't know. If only I did. Ooh.
Don't. Fred, we now go to Cincinnati.
With where every one of those comes the reassurance that you could make child.
We now go to Cincinnati.
Just give me a little of the sauce.
Where people were not given the choice to be
involved.
Let
the miracle take hold.
Because people were attacked, Fred. Attacked in Cincinnati, 2 women.
But one more thing, if they were used tampons, then you've saved them, and you're making a very disturbing statement.
That's more of a statement than just new
because
tampons.
they've been saved. You would assume over the course of many months. I don't know the life span of a tampon. I don't know how, but it would seem like it would take some collecting. The new tampons is just you had a lot of tampons, and you dumped them on the. That's not nearly as disturbing. In fact, they're 2 different crimes.
What was her vocation again?
Firefighter.
Yeah, so she knows the law. So she went because if you dump just regular unused sanitary products, that's just littering.
Adam knows that from his collecting.
If it has some sort of, if it's used, then all of a sudden it's a biohazard, and I think that you get into a different type of crime with that.
Because he doesn't know where to put his trash, and also as someone who collects. He knows the rules that he often will monitor Facebook to see if couples are in any kind of problems because he knows things might be dumped out a window, things might be dumped onto the lawn.
Get some good shirts that way.
Well, I mean,
one man's
seriously.
trash.
Yeah. Well, no, if
an
angry ex-wife, you could get a whole wardrobe.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. Let alone the instruments that could fly out the window. All right, what do we have for the second story?
Cincinnati, vicious attacks taking place on 2 different people.
I'm going to Cincinnati as planned.
Well, you be
next
careful.
Weekend,
you be careful.
After next.
Be on the lookout.
This clomped onto my leg, and it was just hanging on. His tail was flying up here, and I was like, get off me, and I kind of didn't want to touch it. But
a beast! A little devil.
If the beast attach itself to your leg.
What are you doing? You need the sound.
Rocky Suarez was playing around with the occult.
Come on.
All right, good. I know.
Rocky Suarez was playing around with the occult. She had a Ouija board, and it said, guess what, sister? Here comes a little devil. Fella comes out. The thing with the 3 spikes on it. He's got a tail. He's got an attitude. He's saying, what do you want out of me? Sitting on her shoulder going, Rocky
Bullwinkle.
Let that guy bang
tie
you.
in here.
Rocky, let the guy bang you. You're a sexual being, Rocky.
this clomped onto my leg, and it was just hanging on. His tail was flying up here, and I was like, get off me, and I kind of didn't want to touch it. But
it's the last thing Joan Hebleck expected on her morning walk through Lucas Valley.
Yeah, we all know about Joan Hebleck's walk. And we all know about what she's expecting.
She expects a friendly hello, maybe an invite in for a cup of coffee.
Yeah, I mean,
not this.
In fact, she kind of insists on the coffee, which Joan, relax. Like, not every day.
How you doing, Joan? Oh, empty.
She just lost her husband, so she's lonely. You got to invite her in. That's the backstory on Joan Hebleck. She's a real.
I'm much more interested in the second victim.
The last thing Joan Hebleck expected on her morning walk through Lucas Valley in San Rafael.
Came out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. I didn't see him running up to me at all.
Joan suddenly attacked by a squirrel, which clawed and bit her legs. The wounds bad enough, she had to go to the ER.
Scary.
Oh, yeah, very scary. And how do you get the squirrel attached to your leg off?
This is beautiful. Now?
Throw tampons on it.
Okay. Victim. Cut to victim number 2, and I want you to listen to her voice. You're very good at identifying these things. See if you pick up on the same thing that I picked up on.
Is following us until she almost killed me.
Isabel Campoy and her niece Carmen were also attacked while walking in the same area off Mount Lassen Drive.
The squirrel went to the floor and from the floor tried to jump to my face,
Stop.
which I tried to...
Who does she sound like?
She sounds like the chick from Modern Family, but that's not who you're going for.
No.
All right, let me hear it again.
I got it.
The squirrel went to the floor.
Oh, God, I know who you're talking about.
A good steering wheel that doesn't fly off while you're driving.
That's it. That's it.
The squirrel went to the floor.
A good steering wheel that doesn't fly off your hand while you're driving.
He keeps farting. He keeps farting.
I cannot think any good car idea because this guy keeps farting.
I listened to this clip so many times just to hear her say.
Following us until she almost killed me.
That is a good idea.
Trap them. A goose squirrel that does not jump on your leg and bite you.
Oh, nice.
That does sound like it.
The squirrel went to the floor and from the floor tried to jump to my face, which I tried to protect my face from, and then my arm was completely overcome by the squirrel.
Too small. Shut up.
The squirrel, she come to my face. It's too small. That's an eye for seeing.
Oh, my God.
Not
You
for
made it.
She was flipping a bottle during the whole interview. You got to marry your mother-in-law.
No space for mother-in-law.
Finally, it jumped off, and by then I was full of blood, and I ran to the emergency room.
When I saw her with all
There was
the blood,
tampons everywhere. Too many.
with all the blood in her arm, I was like, oh my God.
These flyers are now posted. Alerting
The wound is. You went too long without treatment.
Anyway, that's a squirrel attacking people in Cincinnati.
She sounds like the guy from the think tank.
A good steering wheel that doesn't fly off while you're driving.
That's right.
Has anyone seen that chair company? Ryan saw it. You enjoyed it. The new Tim Robinson vehicle.
Yeah, it was good. It was like more serious than I Think You Should Leave, but it was so absurd that it's still like a comedy.
Okay, because it's the friendship movie was a little hard to put your finger on.
It was. I liked it. I watched it with my son. He didn't want to like it, didn't want to watch it, ended up watching it, kind of liking it. But, yeah, it's tough. It's tough to nail down.
We went to the movies to see it, my daughter and I, and she enjoyed it more than I did. So there's something there. There's a grain of an idea.
There's one more news item here. As something is happening in this clip, John and Fred, I would like you two to try and identify what is going on based on the sounds you will hear. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Ready.
Here we go.
3, 2, 1, go.
I think I actually know, but John, go ahead.
It sounds like he's trying to click a pen as many times as he can.
He's masturbating.
He's what?
Masturbating.
No, I've seen this.
This guy
masturbating.
Well, yeah, you got a camera in my house.
I'll give you a hint. He's trying to set a world record.
It's popping the sheets of the packing stuff.
It is not, and he is not clicking a pen. He is attempting to set a world record in what?
The paddle ball?
There are two people involved.
Well, I don't know if you can say it on the radio.
Yeah, no, that's
I'm all for the lifestyle.
That's something
Live and let
different
live.
entirely. Yeah.
Whatever there is, there's lube.
Right.
Oh, hold on a second. Here's a little clue. Here's a little clue.
Face it up. Twist it up so it's aimed higher. No, up. Left hand. Left hand. Aim it up so it's flat. There you go.
Stop.
Come on.
I got it.
Hey. Come on. There we go. That one felt the best.
I still say Fred's idea might be right.
Well, he's dictating a hand, so maybe
Yes.
it's the stranger. Was he sitting on his left hand before this?
That man was attempting to set a world record as part of his TV show and series in the most number of fist bumps in 30 seconds. So he and another guy are fist bumping over 400 times in 30
That
seconds.
sounds like a lot of fun and good for the production company that did that. I mean, do they know that we're living in a world with AJ and Big Justice? I mean, I can get my entertainment elsewhere. I don't need some stunt. I can have a guy say boom, and that's what I will do.
Jonathan Hollywood Hannon. And apparently he's got a whole thing where he is trying to set world records now.
Okay, well, that sounds like a lot of fun. And something that's never been done before, too. So good for him. No one's ever experienced this before. All right, Alex Barth is riding high. He had big expectations of the Patriots, and they are over-delivering.
Shut up.
We will talk to him in just a moment.
Oh my God. He admitted.
Toucher and Hardy, those scamps. They'll be right back.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. Alex Barr. It's the dead cat bounce with the new coach. Do you buy into that? Is there some? Have you looked into the history of that?
The interim coach bump. Yeah, I looked at that a little bit the other day. There is a higher rate of those teams. I think where people get mixed up, those teams cover at a higher rate than you'd expect, cover the spread. But
Bertrand had a big thing on this during his show yesterday about usually they cover. It's almost a lock that they cover.
They cover, but I think they're like 3-9 in the last 12 games or something like that.
For the win, you mean?
For the win, right.
Okay.
So, they're usually more competitive. They'll put up a little more of a fight, but that doesn't always translate to a win.
What is the amount of acrimony between Vrabel and Tennessee? Is this like a personal thing?
That's a good word.
Thank you.
3-6, by the way. I just found the stat.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not down there, so I didn't cover that whole thing as closely. But talking to people who cover the team and just the reports that have been out there, I think he blames the organization for a lot of what went wrong. You start with the A.J. Brown trade and moving on from him, and he's spoken highly of A.J. Brown since. A.J. Brown has spoken highly of him. And then the rebuild that went on after that. They had a lot of success in 2018 through 2021. Ryan Tannehill was a part of that. Guys like Taylor Lewan, who got older and the team had to move on from. And I don't know if he agrees with the team on how the rebuild went. And
didn't they fire the GM that he preferred before they fired him? As I remember, was it John Robinson?
They've had 3 GMs in the last 3.5 years. So John Robinson, who was the one who did the A.J. Brown trade, they fired him the year after. They hired Ran Carthon, and then they fired him. So since Vrabel's been there, they're now on their second GM and their second head coach.
Which has got to make you feel good if you're Vrabel. The organization's falling apart.
He's won 4 games this season. They've won 4 games since he left.
So I saw some Tennessee people pondering, did they specifically fire the coach this week because they didn't want to lose to Vrabel with Vrabel's replacement?
Oh, that's as good a point as any to fire somebody this early into the season with a brand new quarterback. By the way, I saw something about the kiss of death of having the number 1 overall quarterback. That's pretty much a guaranteed fire. You're getting fired in a couple years. Eberflus, I think it's like the last.
It's the last 4 first overall pick quarterbacks have had their coach fired.
Within how long?
Rookie year.
Oh, God.
Oh, man.
Oh, God.
Because it was Urban Meyer in 21.
With Trevor Lawrence.
Right.
Yeah.
No first-round quarterback in 22. 23 was... Why am I blanking on this? 20. I can't remember.
Was it Kyler Murray? Not Kyler Murray. It's the kid from Carolina.
Oh, Bryce Young. That's
Bryce
right.
Young.
Yeah.
Fired.
And then last year was
Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams, and now in Tennessee.
Yeah. So it's a real problem if you put yourself in position to get the number 1 overall pick in the draft and things aren't developing quickly enough, which really puts the quarterback in a good position too. Because you want to jam as many coaches in there as you can to really screw up their development. But it hasn't screwed up Drake May's development. Now, there is talk of he obviously wouldn't win MVP if the season ended right now. Baker Mayfield, you would have to think, would win MVP right now, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
He's been outstanding.
Okay, but the fact that Drake May is solidly in the MVP, you could make a case for Drake May being the MVP, correct?
Yeah, I think he's got to keep this up, but the way he's played the last couple of weeks.
But if the season ended today, you could make that statement, because who thought that they would be 4-2? He's been critical in all these wins, so you could make that statement.
Yeah, you could. Again, I'd go Baker, but I mean he's right there in the mix.
No, but just the idea that he's in the mix at this stage in his career is quite an achievement.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, year 2, usually this is like a year 3, year 4, year 5 thing, especially after, like you mentioned, the coaching change in the roster overall. He's playing like a top 5 quarterback in the league, without a question.
Okay, so Vrabel has gone out of his way not to overly praise McDaniels, and he has. I mean, if you listen to it, anytime McDaniels comes up, he brings up a bunch of other coaches. Who knows the reason why? But you, and I don't feel like pontificating on it, because who knows? But unless Alex knows, and then feel free to jump in.
Well, I would just add that he was asked about Zach Core and the job he's done calling the defense in place of Terrell Williams, I think 2 weeks ago. And he did the same thing. He kind of listed off the entire defensive coaching staff.
He wants them all gone. He wants them hired away. All right. So, but how much has McDaniels been a part of this Drake May success in his second year?
I mean, he's been a big part of it. They've done a great job of tailoring the offense to Drake May's strengths, and that's been an ongoing process as the season has gone on, and I think it's something that will continue with Josh McDaniels going back to Brady when he had Mac Jones, even the Cam Newton year. The offense is never the same in December as it is in September, and they continue to build on this, and I still think there's some levers they can pull. They haven't gotten Kyle Williams super involved. They really have had a non-existent running game. So
yeah, how do you? That's the thing. How do you get your breakaway back involved?
So some of it is they're facing one of the highest rate of 7 to 8 man loaded boxes in the league. Teams are kind of daring them to throw the ball, and it makes sense. Young quarterback who until recently hadn't proven himself. You looked at this as a potential plus run game. That should change here now. I think teams should defend the Patriots in a way that respects Drake May a lot more. And is it a chicken or the egg thing? Is their run game struggling because teams are playing them more to run, or teams playing them more to run because they're afraid of the run game? So as that opens up, I think that will help. I think some of it too. This I know this sounds simplistic, but I remember saying this about the defense with Robert Spillane after the first 2 weeks. There's guys that we know can play better that aren't. And whether it's the backs, whether it's the offensive linemen, because I think it's a little bit of everybody, I think there's just guys that aren't playing to their ceiling right now. And when they do, it's going to open things up. I don't know that there's a ton of things you change schematically. David Andrews talked about on our podcast on Monday, maybe doing a little more outside zone stuff, but Mike Onwenu had a rough game, I thought, last week. We've seen what is young players, the upside for Jared Wilson and Will Campbell is run blockers, and they flashed at times. But, more consistency from that group. And again, Ramondre Stevenson making defenders miss, Travion Henderson running with a little more patience. We've seen that these guys can do it. It's just doing it more consistently will open things up.
But in the case of Ramondre Stevenson specifically, is there a chance that he's just too focused on holding on to the football and not running the football?
That definitely seems like it's a part of it. And Mike Vrabel even said that the other day. He said it for all the running backs. And that's what's going to happen when there's an emphasis on ball security.
I said it before Vrabel did. I identified it before the head coach even did.
There you go.
Yeah. So you get that all 22. You tape it off your TV.
Going through the film, grinding the tape.
That's right.
Marth. What else did he say that I said first?
I don't know. A couple.
Probably a lot.
I do think that's part of it. I think when there is such a focus on ball security, it's two hands on the football. So, that's one less arm to stiff arm, or maybe you don't want to be held up as long because guys are going to punch the ball out or whatever. And they're among the worst team in the league in yards after contact. And I don't think it's a coincidence that they have these fumble issues early in the year, and now suddenly they're not making as many tacklers miss.
And now once they get touched, they just crawl into a fetal position and go to the ground.
Plays over.
Well, you got to protect it with your arms and legs. It is the fetal. That's what they call it. They go protected in a fetal.
It's a baby.
Why even get hit at this point? I mean, they could punch it out. I mean, just lay down. They punch it out. That's the ground causing the fumble. All right. So, you talk about the lack of the drain. Who is not playing up to their ceiling? Because that's a scary notion. If they're 4-2 and there's players not playing up to their ceiling, what are you seeing from that?
I look mainly at the backs and the offensive line. There's certainly room to be better, but again, Ramondre Stevenson is a guy that has shown he can run through defenders, he can run around defenders, and he's not doing that right now. And again, I think some of it is the ball security, but you look at his breakaway runs the last few years, it's not necessarily he gets a clean hole and it's the speed and he's just running away from everybody, right? He's making guys miss, and he's not making guys miss right now. With Henderson, it is a little bit of that. Something I thought he did so well in college and even in the preseason was he's a really fast guy, but he also knows when not to run full speed and slow down, let the play develop in front of him, wait for the hole to develop, then hit it, then turn on the jets and go. And he's not doing that right now. He's kind of running more full speed into the line, into contact, and I think the game's just a little too quick for him right now, which happens with rookies. It's not uncommon. He was a little bit better about that this week. There were a couple plays where I thought I saw him show some more patience, but we've seen a higher level of that from him in the past.
Okay. So give your, I guess, third of the way through the season grade on the two rookie offensive linemen. How are they playing?
Campbell's been B plus, A minus right there. There's been a couple hiccups, but
better in pass protection than you anticipated?
Yes, and really more consistent. One of the things that worried me with him coming out of camp was I thought he had a strong camp overall, but when he did get beat, it kind of came in bunches. Remember that day he allowed like 3 sacks to Caleb Von Chason, but it was in the span of 5 plays. And then he was great the rest of the day, but he allowed 3 sacks, and that's obviously going to be the storyline. So I think his ability to recover, his ability to bounce back when he has made mistakes really stands out to me. I've been really impressed with him. Jared Wilson, C plus, B minus. I think he's been good in pass protection, but the run game, he looks like a center that's moved to guard. I think there's been some more adjustment there for him.
Speaking for myself, that's all you can ask for Campbell. I mean, not everyone who's drafted that plays left tackle is Orlando Pace. I'll take B plus, A minus 10 times out of 10.
And that's relative to like expectation. So that's not, compared to all tackles in the league.
Okay.
And there's room for him to grow. But no, he's been, you look at, there's a number of different numbers you can use to analyze offensive line play. He's like a top 10 starting left tackle in the league. And
arms are not a problem, I'm assuming.
No, the short arm thing really has not shown up because he's so athletic and, again, the ability to recover and his quick feet and all of that. And this is what I said in the spring is the short arms aren't nothing. Like, it's a factor, but it's not disqualifying. It's just you go back and you look at how does he compensate for it. And the things that you pointed to, the athleticism and things like that, are very clearly showing up.
Well, we're not sitting here looking at a bunch of videos the next day of things blowing up on the left side of the line, which I thought we would be. And just anecdotally for me, it takes a lot to go wrong for me to notice a breakdown on the offensive line. I watch the ball. I watch, football like a child. Where the ball goes, that's where I'm watching.
Moron.
So, exactly. So
you're a fool.
I know.
That's how he caught the thing about the ball security and Ramondre.
Yeah, because I'm watching the ball.
Oh, the ball. He's not holding on to it anymore.
But just the number of times where I've gone back and looked at something where, there was like immediate pressure. And it's happened. I can count on one hand the number of plays I've backed up to say, ooh, did something happen on the left side? Not that I can see. Nothing egregious, like once or twice, but that's going to happen to any left tackle in the game. You're going to get beat occasionally, and it hasn't been bad.
No, it hasn't. The big thing for me going back to last year, people call it different things. I call it a blow-by, which is essentially a non-competitive rep for the offensive line. It's exactly what it sounds like. You don't even get a hand on him. And last year it was, once a drive, somebody on the offensive line would get blown by. Sometimes it'd be more than one player on the same play. You really haven't seen that this year. Like you said, count on one hand maybe the times that's happened. So it's been much better. And honestly, Drake may deserve some credit for this too, especially last week. His ability to navigate the pocket, because even when the pass blocking is good, you're never going to get that perfect half circle. Like, guys will move here and there, and his ability to either leave the pocket or move within the pocket and buy some time, I think, has been really improved these last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and when you watch him, you can tell between him and other quarterbacks in the NFL that aren't successful, his ability to extend plays or get rid of the ball. It's very frustrating to watch quarterbacks that don't get rid of the ball or don't extend plays. Like the idea of just sitting back in the pocket and waiting and buying, like it's just not happening anymore. So you either got to be Jared Goff and get it right out of your hand, or you got to be able to extend plays. And there's plenty of quarterbacks that can't do that. And Drake May's skill set is absolutely there. Alex Barth is in studio. When we come back, is this a buying situation for the Patriots now that they are leading the AFC East?
Yep.
They're in first place in the AFC East. This team obviously is devoid of talent in some positions.
Very thin at a lot of positions.
Yeah, but how much are you willing to sacrifice future assets for this season? And that's a kind of state of the union. If you think about it, how much are you buying in on this season for the Patriots? We'll ask Alex all about that in just a moment. Here are the headlines. Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. This is Sugar. Sugar reformed. They have a new song out, and they are touring.
Very exciting.
They're playing in London right now, and Hardy and I were trying to extrapolate from that information where they would be playing in the Boston area, should they come here. And I was thinking, if I go to that show, there are people far more into music than I, so I'd have to imagine they could play a theater of some sort.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I saw them in '94 at the Orpheum. Could they play the Orpheum again now? Maybe not the Orpheum. Maybe like House of Blues.
How many seats is House of Blues? They all jumble together now. I can't differentiate.
And everything's like
the
the same size now too. Like I love Roadrunner and MGM, the two new venues.
Oh, they're great venues.
They're all like everything's the same size. You need something that's like a little bit smaller, but not so small that it's like the Elks, you know?
But Block Party played at MGM, so I have to assume Sugar could play there. I mean, everyone's invested in this conversation. Everyone's got their own opinions. You're slamming the wheel right now going.
Let
2,400 people at the House of Blues.
Let Barth in, because I can see him wanting to chime in on this.
What's your favorite Bob Mould project, Alex Barth? What incarnation of him did you like the most?
The next one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brilliant right there.
Well, it's Back to the Future now with Sugar.
You can tell he's a real fan.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't go with the obvious Husker Du. I mean, listen, the drummer's no longer with us. They certainly can't reform. All right. I mean, Grant Hart was a halftime vocalist. Now, those were the worst songs. You always waited for the Bob Mould song to come on. It's like Alkaline Trio when the bassist sings. Everyone understands. All right, Alex. So here we are. First place in the AFC East, 4-2. Very easy schedule coming up. This should be a playoff team. Making the playoffs, there are deficiencies on this roster. First is the meta question. Would you give up future assets and draft picks to improve this year?
I mean, certainly some. I don't know that I'd give up the first-round pick.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond that, yeah, it depends on the player, but I'd have a conversation about anything beyond that.
What if it was a first-round pick for a veteran with term, like had time left on his deal?
So if you want to start talking about like A.J. Brown, then yeah. But
if you're Philadelphia, there's no way
Right.
you're moving A.J. Brown,
And
right?
even on some of those lesser teams, like those guys generally move in the offseason. You're not moving a guy like that at the deadline.
Okay, so A.J. Brown is throwing a fit in Philadelphia who, not so long ago, this year, the calendar year of 2025, won a Super Bowl. And he's throwing a fit with their. Now, people thought this about Diggs, too. They thought he might come in and cause problems. A.J. Brown is, a freak and a tremendous athlete and a great receiver. Do you like the idea of someone that's a malcontent on a Super Bowl team coming in with your young quarterback?
So based on what's out there, the reporting, because I'm not there, I don't know, but based on the reporting, it sounds like he's upset that he's not getting the ball because they're not throwing
Have
enough.
you watched them, by the way? I watched the second half of them where they played Denver.
Yeah.
And he, and Hurts was to the detriment of the team, forcing the ball to Brown on like consecutive possessions, just forcing him the ball. And he was covered. So he wasn't, I think he had 9 targets and 2 catches or something.
That's right.
Like he was deliberately forcing it to him. So 9 targets, Alex. A lot of targets. That's fine.
So, well, is it a lot of, he was upset before he started getting the 9 targets, I guess is my point. I'm not worried about him having an issue. And I said this with Diggs too. I'm not worried about that guy having an issue with target share here because they can't rely on their run game right now. Look at where they're at. They have to throw the football. So I don't think there'd be an issue with him not getting the ball enough here in New England. So I don't worry about that a ton. It's also, down the road, could it come up again? Sure. You usually have kind of a year-long grace period where these guys are just happy they're somewhere else, and you go from there. It's a year.
Would you like to know his targets per game? 8, 10, 9, 8, 9. 8, 10, 9, 8, 9.
So some of those, and I think it was Rossini who wrote this, it's not just
she
about...
Like us.
She loves it.
No,
she doesn't like us.
Did I just... My bad.
Passive aggressive.
No, I have no issue with her. She just has an issue with us. She thought we were... I guess talking down to her because she was a woman.
The passive-aggressive note is right there in front of Fred if you want to read it.
She sent us pastries.
I got you.
Yeah. She said, I should just be in the kitchen. And he was like, oh, well, touche. I mean, there's nothing left to be said. Of course, that was what we were implying. Go ahead.
In between critiquing you guys, she reported, I think it was her that wrote that it's not just the number of targets, it's the kind of targets, and they're using him on screens and quick hitters, and he wants to get the ball down the field.
Oh, well,
and that's
he's got a
just
good point.
not what Philly does. And they're throwing the ball down the field pretty well here. So I just think it's a different kind of situation. I think a change of scenery might be good. I don't know that he's the kind of guy that is going to blow his way out of town over nothing. Obviously, it's something you factor in. Also, there's the relationship with Vrabel. He seems to really like Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel seems to really like him. I think he's somebody that if he comes here, they're going to prioritize.
It's funny with the Ted McMillan stuff, though, just watching him in Carolina, and he wasn't considered a surefire first round. I mean, he was the best receiver in the draft, but seeing his success, it just is so appealing to go out and get a guy in the first round that you control for that long. You know, not just going out and getting the known commodity that's already upset and already making all that money. There is that temptation. Because do you, and this isn't a leading question, I mean this seriously, do you think like with adding a couple pieces during the season that this team could be competitive in the playoffs?
No, for the reason that those kind of players, there's just not enough of them available at the trade deadline.
Okay,
they
so-
need like 2 or 3 of those players,
Yeah.
and they just don't become available this time of year.
And you don't have and you're certainly not giving up multiple assets. You're
Right,
not
and
going
the
out
assets
going-
you need to get, like in theory, they're a couple players away from really being a contender. I believe that. I don't think you can make those kinds of moves in season, though.
I'll just give you a hypothetical, and
Yeah.
then I know Hardy had a question for you, but like Breece Hall will be available.
Yeah.
He has no more term left. This is his last year of his contract. I think so, yes. Breece Hall is a very good running back on a very bad team. Would you bring him in? Now, like say it took a 3rd or 4th round pick. You only get him for the rest of the season. Is that the kind of move you make? Take away the player, but Breece Hall is a very good available running back. Is that the kind of move that you would make this year?
Yeah, I heard Reese talking about it on Zolak and Bertrand yesterday. I would. I kind of wonder. I was a little surprised because I don't know if the Jets would trade him in the division. And maybe because he's a rental, they'd be more willing to. But, yeah, that's absolutely the kind of move I'd make.
So the fact that we're even talking about any move, much less a move for a running back, that has to surprise Vrabel and the rest of the staff right now, where you got to believe they didn't think they would be in this position.
Too fast.
Well,
I'm just saying they're victims of their own brilliance.
victims of their own success. I know you're being a little cute there, Fred.
I'm
but-
just talking about how preposterous this notion was. No, just go ahead.
No, it is kind of crazy though that you're thinking about. Well, should we be looking for a better target for Drake because he's doing so great with what he's got to work with now, much less. God, should we be looking for a running back for a team that was supposed to be relying on the running game while Drake was still learning the McDaniels offense and dealing with substandard receivers? It's like, oh no, he's doing great. Think how much better he would do. That's one direction we could go, or we could find a running back because these guys can't seem to run the football. So I got to believe if they are having these conversations, it's starting from ground zero because there's no way they were thinking they would have to do either one of these things. Not at this point in this season.
Maybe. I mean, Vrabel, when he got hired, talked about the standard being winning the division. And this is the start you have to have if you want to hit that standard.
Yeah, say that. Every coach says that. There's no way
think he was going to be beating Buffalo.
You really thought when he took this job, he thought 10-7, 11-6. Not a chance.
Yes and no. He's a second-time head coach. And those guys aren't going to take a job where they don't think they can succeed and succeed quickly.
Not this
because you
fast.
really only get two chances.
Maybe 2 or 3 years down the road, him and Wolf were talking. You know what? If we do this,
I don't
and
know
this-
because maybe he felt that they could improve enough defensively in free agency, and he believed enough in May. And maybe they saw flaws that we're seeing in Buffalo. That defense isn't very good. Maybe they don't have a lot of receiving talent. Maybe they saw all that happening.
And the first place thing is a part of this, but you mentioned the flaws in Buffalo. Let's say the Bills win the other night and they're 5-1. We're still sitting here talking about the Patriots trading, right? It's all about the 4-2. It's about their record. Maybe he looked at the schedule.
But also, but also to that point is just the way things fell with the quarterbacks all going down. I mean, you've basically eliminated Cincinnati and Baltimore, so. I mean, you certainly eliminated Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So the Mocs have still like 8+ wins for Baltimore, which I'm not seeing.
Baltimore 1-5. They're done.
Well, not according to the models, but
their schedule gets pretty easy.
But
and they could eke out if Lamar comes back.
They have a bye this week, right? So he could come back.
Yeah, there's always that team that starts off with like 3 wins and then wins a handful of games.
But
late
I
to
mean,
screw up their
Indianapolis certainly isn't a world beater. Pittsburgh's not a good team. The Chargers. You know who I would not want to play in the playoffs is the Broncos. That defense is insane.
Yeah.
I have questions at the quarterback, but that defense is very hard, very difficult to play against. But look, the way things have fallen for the Patriots. The main thing is May, it's just so unbelievable that May has come onto the scene this quickly. In this soon after Brady, you really just whiffed on one guy, and then you were able to get the guy, which is unheard of prosperity. Really, that never happens. Never happens. I mean, how many teams have gotten in modern history? If you take away like the 49ers, how many teams have gotten 2 guys in a row? Indianapolis got luck after Manning.
Say the Packers.
The Packers. That's good.
I just had another one. Sort of the Cowboys.
But the Packers, I would say there's a consistency there too, though. Like, I don't know how much of it is like Jordan Love. Like, if Jordan Love was on another team, are you positive Jordan Love would be this successful?
But it's still Favre and Rodgers.
Yeah. They took a swing at Rodgers. That's right. While they still had Favre.
Yeah.
He sat in that green room for far too long. It made him an a-hole.
Montana, Young, Favre, Rodgers.
Yeah, see, I'd say like maybe the Cowboys, Romo, Prescott were both like starting caliber quarterbacks, but they're not on that level.
They're not on that level. All right, very good.
But you're skipping over the Mac Jones, Cam Newton.
No, you just one mistake. The Cam Newton thing was a stopgap. They weren't investing in him.
Right.
The Mac Jones, they invested a first-round pick in, so that's a failure. They were scrambling with the Cam Newton thing. They put themselves in a situation
we almost
where they
did the summer Stidham. Remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
So
Sticky.
Yeah. That was more.
McCourty twins couldn't say enough about how Stiddy had control of the offense. He was going to be great, and he was gone.
But I mean, you have your coach and quarterback maybe for the next decade, which is pretty unheard of after the kind of run they had with Belichick and Brady. All right, Alex Barth, 98.5thesportshub.com. He's got a podcast with David Andrews. He's got all his articles, all his videos. It's all up there. Alex, thank you for coming in. We appreciate it. We'll be back in just one moment, people.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the
towards another road game this Sunday in Nashville against the 1-5 Tennessee Titans. The MLB Network and others were first to report last night the Red Sox Alex Bregman does indeed plan to opt out of his contract and become a free agent. Sox Director of National Scouting, Devin Pearson, is leaving the organization and become the new assistant GM of the Washington Nationals. Last night, Yoshinobu Yamamoto threw a complete Game 3 hitter. The LA Dodgers beat Milwaukee 5-1 to take a 2-0 lead in the National League Championship Series. Celtics wrap up their exhibition season tonight at TD Garden against Toronto. Grandy and Max have the call at 7:30 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Dallas yesterday signed head coach Jason Kidd to a multi-year contract extension. And because of what he sees as civil unrest in the city of Boston, President Donald Trump threatened to move the World Cup matches out of Gillette Stadium next summer. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the $14.99 Big Deal Meals at the 99, like the new grilled teriyaki chicken available every Monday through Wednesday for just $14.99. You gotta love the nines. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
This is what happens when analysts take over the games, take over the sport.
This is where you talk sports.
It happens all the time.
The Sports Hub.
You know, I know. No, you don't know.
Everyone agrees that I'm the only one who's not wrong.
Right or wrong, they're back. Toucher and Hardy on the Sports.
For a salary cap in baseball, because the Dodgers outspend everyone by so much. Obviously, their payroll is $240 million. The lowest payroll in the league is $47 million. There's too much of a discrepancy. There's no other way to shake it. I got this email. Fred, I agree with you on the salary cap in baseball. It's needed for sure, but I would like to point out there's still way more parity in the MLB than there is in the NFL. The NFL prides itself on supposed parity. Case in point, in Major League Baseball, 5 teams have never won a World Series. Only one, the Mariners, have never made a World Series. In the NFL, 4 teams have never made the Super Bowl. Blah, 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 blah. And baseball has been around for way longer than MLB. He acknowledges that. You're focusing on the wrong thing. You're focusing on the team that wins. And the parity, and you're going way back into history when this wasn't an issue. But just go through the teams. There's one outlier, and it's 2023. But Dodgers, Yankees, Rangers, Diamondbacks, 2 mid-salary teams. Then there's at least one huge salary in every one. Houston, Philadelphia, 2 huge salary teams. Braves, Astros, 2 huge salary teams. Dodgers, Rays, 1 big salary team. Nationals, Astros, 1 big salary team. Red Sox, Dodgers, 2 big salary teams. Houston, Dodgers, 2 big salary teams. Cubs, Indians, so on and so forth. So you do that. And also, just think of it in terms of who made the playoffs this year. Top payrolls. Dodgers in. Mets no. Atlanta no. San Diego in. Toronto in. Philadelphia in. Boston in. Cubs in. Yankees in. Houston no. So it goes.
But the Mets and Houston just missed.
Right. And so if you have a high salary, you're at least going to be down to the last couple days of the season. Now go to the bottom. The Nationals, Miami, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Minnesota, Cincinnati, Tampa Bay, and Baltimore is the most frustrating out of all of them because this is their little window where they can retain that talent. It's hard for me to imagine the amount of bitching that this town does about the Red Sox. Imagine if they extend their kids. They have already extended Anthony. They've already extended Campbell.
Bale.
Imagine that you have a team where there is a kid that comes up. He has tremendous success at a young age, and you know he's never going to stick around. But the owners could do it, but they're not doing it. Pittsburgh's not going to keep Skeens. They're not going to keep them. Baltimore's not going to be able to keep their young talent. You know this going in. You know Cincinnati's not going to be able to keep De La Cruz. And if they are, it's at the expense of everything else. So there is a huge problem. And my concern for baseball, which is a game I love, is that you're going to alienate 20 markets. Because in a miracle that you catch lightning in a bottle and you draft and develop this talent and you have that 2-year window, it's gone. You're gone. The cycle begins again. Like the Royals. The Royals won. When did they win? They won in 2015. 10 years later, they're putting along for, a fringe playoff team. That's the reality of it. What about Tampa? Yeah, Tampa can get lightning in a bottle, and then they got to get back, lose everyone, trade everyone away, and rebuild it.
Yeah, by the way, let's think about that. Tampa can have one small thing go wrong. Like Wander Franco, perfect example. Franchise shortstop, they gave him the money. They signed him to a long-term contract, and then something weird happens, and now he's gone, and you have no depth at that position, and you're back to where you started. That's the problem. You give a long-term contract to a guy like that, and something strange happens. He blows out his knee. He gets into trouble with the law, and all of a sudden you're screwed.
Right. He doesn't pan out, and you gamble too early because you have to. I mean, there's a bunch of problems. Like the Red Sox can absorb. If Anthony got hurt, it sucks, and it alters plans, but it's something that they can conceivably cover up with money. At least you're not losing a kid. Now, Betts. What about Betts? Fine. But for every Betts, there's 5 other players. And it's just the bitching about retaining players that goes around here. I mean, you have a high payroll. Imagine being a team that there's no chance, that you're hundreds of millions of dollars behind in the payroll. Why would you go to games? Why would you invest any time into that? Why would you invest any money into that? And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Give Pittsburgh fans credit. Everyone who's been there, you've been to PNC Park, right? It's supposedly a very beautiful ballpark.
Yeah, but no one goes anymore.
That's where I was. That's exactly where I was headed. Pittsburgh fans know they're not going.
No
they're
one
not
was going to Cardinal games. No, and that's a market that cares about baseball. No one's going to those games. You alienate that many markets, that many media markets. It's just not good for the sport. Now, football, you say, well, there's all these dynasties and there's all these teams in the same teams. Yeah, but every year, every team, there's so much more of an equal footing. I mean, the Patriots were able to turn things around in this one draft pick. You turn things around. Free agents from big teams don't automatically leave. Good players on small market teams stay on those small market teams.
Take a look where some of the big free agents went. Like the Patriots were in on Calvin Ridley, right? They wanted to pay him over $30 million. I think it was Tennessee that wound up with him, right? Or Jacksonville. I mean, these are, in theory, smaller market teams, but they're able to pay a free agent wideout $30 million.
Well, Tampa Bay just did it to you, too, and with a wide receiver.
Godwin, who took a lot of less money, but they still went to Tampa for a lot of cash.
And that's the same market that has the Rays.
And sometimes that's going to happen because that's natural selection taking place. It's not just the team with the most money that's able to spend the most. If you draft well and you get a good core, the players who have their choice of where to play will choose to play at a place like that, even if they could make the same amount somewhere else. It's not just a question of who's going to write the biggest check. No, there's a pretty definitive market for a lot of positions and a lot of players at the average to above average level. So those teams should be rewarded. If you draft well and you have a good coach, that's fine.
Well, elite players don't leave. Elite players don't leave teams. They don't become free agents. They don't. They get contracts in the NFL. That's why in free agency you can get that dead cat bounce that the Patriots got a few years ago, but it's not sustainable because the elite players don't become free agents. So there's never a conversation that Green Bay's never going to be good. They have as good an opportunity as everyone else. It's not hard to see. Oklahoma City won the championship. Oklahoma City, how the hell would they compete as a market in Major League Baseball? Unless they had a crazy, trillionaire owner that didn't care. And you're not going to find that because it's all private equity money. It's all an investment now. So that's not going to happen. I don't like cherry picking things or just pushing the problem off to someone else. You have to address problems you have to address reality. And the reality is that the situation with small market teams is they can't compete. The big market teams with large payrolls compete every year. That's the reality. How are you going to fix it? The only way you can fix it is to create. And by the way, John and I have done this exercise. Go look at the breakdown of how much players are making. It's so incredibly top heavy that if I'm an average, not bad, average major league player, I want a cap. Why? Because they can install a floor, and that raises everyone's salary. So sure, Bryce Harper's going to cuss out, Manfred when he's in the clubhouse because he don't want a salary cap because he benefits from that. But if I'm a guy making $750,000, a guy making $2 million, and there's a guy bitching at the commissioner who's making $35 million, get the F out of here.
Take a look at the Yankees. Aaron Judge, $40 million. John Stanton, $32. Carlos Rodon, $27. Cody Bellinger, $27. And then there's no one else above $15.
Right. So the disparity in player salaries is ridiculous. So raise the floor. Raise the minimum that rookies can make. I mean, you got guys, the kid from around here that went to Northeastern making $750,000.
Cam Schlittler.
Right. If you mispronounce that name, you're as good as gone because you made an honest mistake, which should be punished, as all honest mistakes should be. Your ignorance to
Cam Schlittler.
Your ignorance to pronunciation should always be punished with a grave that's of course. But it's just this trickery of, well, the Brewers are in it. Yeah, the Brewers are in it. They're playing the Dodgers. That's the way it goes. Well, Seattle's never made a World Series. They'll probably make a World Series this year. Yeah, they're playing Toronto. That's just the way it goes. The high salary teams are always in the mix. And you might throw in some wing and a prayer team, but they can't retain the talent that got them there.
Like, for instance, Cleveland, who won the division, and they're in the bottom 5 of spending.
I defy you to name 4. You probably could. To name 4 Guardians, though.
I'm not sure I can.
That is a team that is like a bunch of kids that throw 95 coming out of the bullpen.
There's Jose Ramirez and a bunch of other guys.
Right.
That's true. I'm not sure I can name 4 Guardians. Oh, yeah, Jokinski Noel.
Yeah.
There you go.
But, I mean, that is just a team of bullpen arms. I mean, it's a boring team. You ask people in Cleveland who's on that team, they don't know. No star. There's one star on that team. Star. One guy on that team. He might be a Hall of Famer.
Oh, yeah, I know that guy, Emmanuel Clase, the closer, but he's gone. So that's it.
Yeah, they dealt at the deadline, Cleveland.
Yes, they did.
So they succeeded just because Detroit fell apart.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, Ramirez makes $21 million. The next highest paid player is Stephen Kwan at $8 million.
Oh, I should have remembered Kwan. He's a batting champ.
They have maybe 24 guys making $820,000 a year. You don't think they'd like a floor? I'm not kidding. They might have 24 guys making $820,000 because it's an expanded roster. Because that's what that roster is. It's a bunch of guys that are popping between major leagues and minor leagues. I mean, it goes 21, 8.5, 6.4, 6, 4, 4, 3, 2, 2, 2, 1. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Well, the owners should spend more money. Well, he's not gonna. And so the fan base, the city should have to pay the price. The sport should have to pay the price. Unless you're going to install owners and make them spend money, they're not going to spend money. But they could, but they're not. That's the thing. Deal with that. Because, the Dodgers-Yankees had really high ratings. Okay, try it out the 7th year in a row. And by the way, you got to have a whole season. You got to have 162 games before that. So congratulations, you got 6 games in October that are highly rated. But meanwhile, you can't bring 5 people to see teams in the middle of the country.
You want to see no one watch TV? Let's see if Milwaukee rallies to beat Toronto. Milwaukee somehow beats the Dodgers and plays Seattle.
I would take that over getting high ratings for the World Series, but having a Seattle market doesn't care about the team and having a Milwaukee market that doesn't care about the team.
Yeah, how compelling is it to have the best player in baseball on a team right now that's up 2-0 in their series, batting what is Ohtani, 147?
It just doesn't matter.
How compelling is it to watch the best player in baseball fail and still have your team be up 2-0 in the series?
And the thing is, the best player in baseball is always going to be on that team, but he's not going to be alone. It's not him carrying the team. It's just not. None of it's as compelling.
That's the thing. That's the reason the Dodgers are winning is because they're rolling out 4 starters, including Ohtani in Game 4, by the way. But that guy Yamamoto, I mean, they got Glasnow after him. I mean, it's not fair.
Right,
they're spending all this money on all these guys.
Right. And half those guys were hurt in the regular season, and it didn't matter because they were just bored playing with their food until they got to the playoffs where they're going to make the World Series. And that's just the way it goes. So I would take a Texas Arizona World Series that no one watches over having complete seasons in a dozen markets where no one cares. That's not the way to success. It's not just being cheap that the NFL, the NHL, and the NBA have salary caps. It's that the teams cannot compete. They want parity. That's what they want. That's what those leagues are striving for. They want parity. They want teams to be in on it. And they want as many teams, fan bases, to be interested for the entirety of this season as possible. They don't want 0-6 disasters at the beginning of the year. And the 0-6 team is the team in the biggest market. So the Jets, there's no reason the Jets shouldn't be able to compete except for their own incompetence. They have as much money as anyone.
They have some talent there too.
They have they have a little bit of high-end talent.
The point is they have some guys that are recognizable that can be good.
Yes. Well, they gave two guys a lot of money this offseason for not winning anything, so that's the price that you pay.
But this is all leading up to, in case someone doesn't know, the end of the labor agreement in Major League Baseball is a year from next month.
And I don't care if they don't play baseball for
and it doesn't
8 years.
and that's the bigger point. It doesn't look like they're going to. The players aren't going to give in on this. They're
but
not
the
going
thing
to give
is,
in on the salary cap.
The thing is, if the players legitimately vote on this, if I'm an average MLB player and you propose a floor that would raise my salary, I'm absolutely voting for it. It seems to me the only guys that wouldn't vote for it are the handful of guys making $30 million a year. If I was anyone else, I'd vote for it.
The problem has been, and you know this, the players aren't always together and the owners are, and the owners have way more money. That's the problem with all of this.
Well, my point is, if I was the players, the majority of the players, I would want the floor. Put the cap on it and give me the floor. Give me more money. If I'm 30 guys on Cleveland's roster, I want the floor. If you tell me I'm making $2 million more a year, $1 million more a year, just for signing off on this thing that's going to hurt Bryce Harper, I'll hurt Bryce Harper. You raise the level. Rising tide. You understand? All right. We'll be back. I suppose you guys got emails as well. We'll do our award-winning email segment in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy.
know, I got an idea for a bit. The email bit. We should do the email bit. It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
Is this bossy thing for me, or is it for...
Yeah, you can read it. They dropped us off some pastries this morning.
Oh. Bossy is a Lux pickleball and lifestyle experience in Natick. Have you been there?
Yeah, Felger and I played Rob Gronkowski in the Ringer at Bossy.
You got a point off him?
Yeah, we scored 1 point off of on Gronkowski, not his Ringer.
It was a real Missoula situation.
It was. Thank you.
Their sports entertainment complex has it all. DraftKings sponsored sports bar, Italian restaurant, Parisian cafe, which I can read, golf simulators and sports viewing theater, along with courtside dining. You can hit them up at Bosse, BOSSE.net.
Beautiful place.
Matt, go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Fred. I just got a question. As a Jets fan, how maddening is it to, watch the Patriots just dominate for 20 years, and then they finally hit a streak where, maybe they might not be so relevant, and then they just get the next guy in 5 minutes. Meanwhile, the last decent quarterback you guys had was probably who? Chad Pennington? Could you kind of get into
stretch.
that?
That's a stretch.
Psychologically?
That's a very low bar because Vinny Testaverde was the last successful quarterback for them.
Pennington was good. Didn't have much of an arm, but he was really good.
He didn't win anything. But the thing is that Sanchez won more than Pennington. But the thing is that you are right. My gut instinct with this is to be very angry at how unfair life is, and that my son's only around for so long before he moves off to school, and that we'll probably never be able to enjoy a proper season together, living under the same roof. But then I have to put it into perspective and know that my earning potential is great. It might be higher with the Patriots being successful. So there's a real yin and yang going on. My subconscious is telling me to be very angry, but I have to run that through my frontal lobe to tell me that, to put it all into perspective, that I did indeed survive the last dynasty. I was moved into it. And then I muddled through.
Oh, you celebrated. You're out there at the parades.
No.
Buying the gear.
When I first moved here, the Jets beat the Patriots in the playoffs. It was a great upset.
That was the can't wait game.
Yeah, and I just thought, and I was hosting AFC Championship things at Game On. I was having the time. I was wearing my Al Toon jersey. I was having the time of my life.
You're 3 years into your Boston run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it all went sideways. And here we are. But the caller is very astute. It takes my first, but I don't hate Vrabel and I don't hate May. I hate Belichick. I always knew, and I always had heard something was off with that guy, so I never liked him.
Vrabel's normal in his interaction with human beings. Belichick is not.
I swear to God, I don't hate this team, and I think John could even sense that there's certainly no animosity towards this team. I don't hate the uniform because I grew up not caring about the Patriots at all. They weren't a factor. They were like kind of the generals that played the Harlem Globetrotters in the '85 Super Bowl, or '86 when the game was actually played. I mean, that was a joke team. They were never on TV. So it's not like I grew up, like the Cubs I hate from my youth, but it's not like I grew up hating them.
But when you were older, the Jets would always lose to the Patriots.
Yes, they've lost to the Patriots for millennia.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so when I was a kid, it wasn't a factor, and then it became a factor in my adult life. But I don't hate the uniform.
But that's the thing. Patriots fans hated the Jets. But
there was the Parcells thing.
Hated the Jets.
But there was the Parcells Belichick
thing. But even before that, the Jets were always the team for some reason.
Well, it's that Boston, New York thing, which seems to have died a little bit with the internet. There seems to not be. Now we're all focused on hating each other for other reasons.
Yeah.
But but the New York Boston thing seems to have, in my time here, kind of gone away, at least from my perspective.
No, I think there's some truth to that. Once the Red Sox got over the hump, I think
like the Yankees suck thing seems to be almost like a
after
obligation.
The Yankees suck thing. They used to be chanting before the Red Sox won the World Series out in the bleachers. They'd be cheering Yankees suck when like the Detroit Tigers were in town. It was bad.
Yeah, so I think it's more of an obligation now than it is a real thing.
And I think maybe for a time at least, prior to 2004, there was real animosity and even for a year or two after, between those two teams, it didn't take long for the friendships to build. And then you find out that Ortiz and A-Rod are, going out to dinners and, having friendships that, hey, wait a second, I thought we all hated them. I'm like, no.
Well, there was no better evidence of that than Deflategate. Everyone was protecting the wall and cheering and yelling and hating Goodell. Meanwhile, Kraft and Goodell are having drinks together and like laughing at everyone.
Well, yeah, I'm just talking Red Sox, Yankees specifically.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's all billionaires playing with their money, and we sit here as pawns in the game, as Professor Griff once so eloquently said.
Well, if you would like to make some money, maybe you should play Keno. Sarah from Everett emailed to say there is a Keno ad on the station. Is that Al Cole reading the commercial? I have not heard this.
I haven't heard this either.
Yeah. Do you ever play Keno?
No.
I don't know how you play it.
For all the ways that I'd love to gamble,
you got to find a convenience store or a special gas station. for that.
No, there's some restaurants where you can sit there and play. Bars and restaurants, you can play a town spa, sit there and wait for the number to come up.
And I've
6,
always wanted
7.
to be like the guys standing there playing it. They always seem to be people that are worthy of respect.
They're doing well.
Yeah,
You got the spot if you want to do a compare and contrast.
Well, I don't know.
It's
if
only
this is
15 seconds
wise,
long.
since they're paying money. But go ahead.
Just a quick.
Is your fantasy team slowly becoming a nightmare? Don't just pick your favorite players. Pick your favorite.
I do.
8 is a very, very seductive number.
I like Sarah from Everett dipping her toe back into the activities of this show and focusing on you again.
Yeah.
That I respect. Because Sarah from Everett was becoming extremely naggingly negative for a long time until I finally snapped. So I like it that she hasn't turned her back on the show completely. I also like it that she doesn't email me anymore. So that's kind of a perfect situation for me.
Yeah.
Sarah from Everett can get back to her love of Hardy and her ignoring me. She went over where I couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, the whole talking into the turtleneck thing when she was here, that's
her own eccentricities. She can do whatever she wants. I just don't like it that she was just yelling at me every day via email.
She's got a system for picking her own Keno numbers.
3.14159265358979323846.
You just
get her out of there. Well, we did.
Apparently, there's a big problem with the podcast yesterday.
Oh, there was an hour missing. Oh, the consternation.
There was a lot of people calling for Nick's head.
Yeah.
I spared him the emails.
A lot of exclamation points.
We
A
have
lot of exclamation
corporate
points.
meeting tomorrow at 3 o'clock where the three of us will be sitting in to find out what more about the podcast and the music and all that stuff.
Well, that sounds like fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's not good.
Not Gary Tangway with a book idea on Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
Rocky Suarez had a sweet ass and a blown-up bus to deal with. Cut to the Alamo. Little public urination, yada, yada, yada. Guy in the trunk of a car probably has a few insights. It's a rite of passage.
Yeah, it's like a living history. It's fictionalized history.
It's a rite of passage.
That's right. Throw that in there. As many cameos as you can. Speaking of Cameo, find me on Cameo. I'll shout out to anything.
It's still up there.
Play me on Wake at the Wake.
Aubrey says, I was listening last night. A guy called up to talk baseball with Joe Murray and asked about Hunter Green. And Joe responded with, but where's your favorite restaurant on the North Shore? Thanks, Aubrey.
I'd prefer that conversation than a conversation about Hunter Green.
My kids love listening to Joe when we're driving in the car going somewhere. They love Joe.
Joe's just a friend at night. You just put him on, and you know that you're not alone.
It's one of those rare times where the car is absolutely quiet.
Yeah.
Listening to Joe.
Joe's perfect for night. Night, you just want to know that someone else is out there, alive, talking, not something taped. I want to know someone's in a room talking to me, out of the house, too. Out of the house talking to me, sitting with other people, that we're all in the dark, going about our lives, that we're not all so alone. That's what Joe brings to the people.
Another email, as Gary, shout out to the gaffers, hashtag gaffs. Shout out to the best boy, hashtag best, hashtag boy. Well, what's in the cooler? A severed leg, hashtag leg. Shout out to Rocky Suarez, hashtag huge cans. Finally, shout out to hashtag Jason, hashtag Friday the, hashtag 13th.
If you don't know what we're talking about, Gary Tangway was very active on Instagram, marking everything incorrectly. He was mentioning people by breaking up their name, so it just became at Jason, at whatever. But he's in a wild attempt to gain favor with Hollywood right now. He seems to be scrambling, trying to get to Hollywood again.
This is how you work the system.
Jobs. Need jobs.
Wait until 9 o'clock West Coast time when HBO starts seeing the numbers.
That's right.
We have a 300% increase in New England in our streaming. What's going on? I don't know. Some influencer must be running amok. Now, HBO, I could use this power for good. I could use this power for bad.
Can't send the script until 9 a.m. Pacific. Hashtag Matt Damon.
Yeah. Best crew in the planet. They treat extras A+.
Congratulations, Ed Curran Head. Ed Curran Head, dead link. Damn it. What's in the cooler? Question mark, exclamation point. Look at Gary's.
At Griffin Dunn, you up to anything? Sequel to American Werewolf in London.
12 minutes ago. Just posted. A great pod at Only Murders Hulu. Very interesting casting segment all actors and fans should listen to at TLNYC. And then a dead link to the Apple podcast because I'm not allowed to post actual links in my Instagram.
Fred, did he ever get back to you? We got to have him on. I mean, he
didn't want to come on about it. And I told him I wouldn't talk about it. It's nothing bad.
Yeah.
It's just he doesn't know. He had an opportunity. He doesn't know if it will come to fruition. And I wanted him to talk about it on the air, and he didn't want to talk about it. It's all good. There's no bad in it.
And I respect that, too. I miss having him on.
Well, I'm not the one who brought it up. If you respected so much, you would have gone with his wishes of not talking about it. So there you go. Adam in a real catch-22. Putting himself in a position to make Gary look bad.
Rick in Maine, good morning. I just thought it was important to let you guys know that I've been not able to get the Chico and the Man theme song out of my head for the past 2 days, and I haven't been discouraged. Well, you're welcome.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and.
I think this is
now we're just pandering to the youth. Well, the vinyl record we had wasn't the
recording. I think
it wasn't Jose Feliciano.
No, it was all just people doing the songs. They couldn't pay for that.
The show went off the air in 1978.
I don't even remember it. I've never seen an episode.
As I said, I vaguely remember seeing this.
But you didn't know about the cult that I told you about?
No, I did not. But I feel better because 12 hadn't heard of it. 12's got his ear to the ground more than I do, and he didn't know either.
We had the story earlier about the guy who's going for the fist bumping world record.
Oh yeah,
he said that's a good idea. Can the show go for some world records? Fred, cold plunge, layup. Hardy, most contractors admired in a single day. John, rubbish picked up with your beak in a minute. Single pointer fingers raised in a segment. Religions abandoned. World record for the longest breath held with your face.
Hashtag Judaism.
Hashtag for the longest breath held with your face betwixt some cheeks.
Yeah, Be Real was pontificating on Big Dumper in Seattle. Sounds like a porn title for Wallach, since his mother has fled to Seattle to get away from him. So there you go. Big Dumper. That's at least got to get your brain going a little bit.
Well, I first heard it. I wasn't sure what was going on.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we'll be back in just a moment and finish this whole thing up. Here are the headlines.
Essential Sports Hub headline. Hardy.
A big, beautiful ball of flavor.
And a whole lot of Boston sports.
And I have had many offers to become an insider.
We know what you're thinking. What could I possibly have missed from the show? It's time for The Stack on...
No, that was a separate conversation, but in the same break. Do you guys realize that was a CBA year with no cap, where the Patriots held spending at the past year's cap, and the Jets went $40 million over the previous year's cap to go for it? Respect. The foot can't stop a nosebleed game is always something true fans remember because we rebuilt after that. Just enough to lose to the Giants and Tom Coughlin for the second time.
That was the game where Welker had to sit out, just the opening kick or something?
Opening series or opening quarter because of all of his feet jokes about Rex Ryan.
Right.
That showed him.
Yeah.
What a punishment. Keep him out of the whole Super Bowl while the team runs up the score.
But make sure you never, ever, ever explain why you did it. And write books and do interviews and get asked and never, ever say why.
I wonder why Malcolm Butler doesn't say why. Because he's been interviewed on this station. He's been interviewed a lot. In fairness to everyone here, he gets asked the question every time and he handles it. He doesn't brush it off, but he just gives a non-answer.
Yeah, he never says anything definitive like, I have no clue.
Oh, no, he has said that.
No, he says, I have no clue.
He has said, I have absolutely no idea.
Yes.
I heard him do an interview where he kind of danced around that a little bit.
Then that was a new take because he usually just says, I really don't know. I honestly don't know, which I find hard to believe that he couldn't infer. Is that the correct definition of it? From what was going on, what was the actual problem?
Infer, glean, whatever.
Yeah. Along those
but
lines.
then at one point I asked him when he was with us at the Super Bowl, I said, when they brought you back on that training camp contract and he made like $250,000 and no one really expected him to make the team, I said, did you get the sense that maybe that was Bill doing you a solid because of the Super Bowl thing and never really coming out with why, and that maybe there was no real no real belief that you were going to be on the team, but hey, come into camp and here's a few bucks. And he said, yeah, I think that's a fair way to look at that. So pretty small payoff, but something that he didn't immediately dismiss. And I asked it in a way that I didn't want to insult him, but what else was he doing here? I mean, why else would you bring him in? Other than, hey, sorry about that whole Super Bowl thing. Why don't you come to camp and make, six figures?
He was on the plane when he met Jordan. He was the facilitator. He gave up his seat for Bill. So there's a young lady here I think you might want to meet. She's a philosophy student. I know you love philosophy.
God. This, I'm sure you already know, Fred, but just for everybody else, Gene Simmons has officiated a wedding.
Of course I know.
Okay, who got married?
Sammy Hagar.
The drummer from Anthrax, whose name is
Charlie Bell.
Butcher
Licorice Pizza's the best.
Butcher Babies. Carla Harvey of Butcher Babies and drummer Charlie Benante from Anthrax were married. They were engaged last year when he proposed during the U2 show at the Sphere in Las Vegas.
You want to hear something morbid? When Gene and Paul die, it's like we're one away from us, because all these guys like Dimebag Darrell and all those guys are just such. Dimebag Darrell was buried. The reason I mentioned he was buried in a Kiss casket, they were so influential to the people Wallach's age, the people that of the generation before us. So when Gene and Paul die, that's Ozzy, Gene, and Paul. So those are twice removed. So then it comes down to the generation of old age right before us. This is the way I'm looking at time shifting now.
Yeah, by who's dying but it has to be of old age.
Yeah. If it's of a tragedy, or if it's from some horrible disease that struck them young, like D'Angelo, who unfortunately died at 51. I guess he had a battle with cancer. That's just horrible luck and whatever other factors. But I'm talking about an old age, dying of age.
Sure.
And that's Paul. I don't know how we're going to keep moving without Paul. I've never lived on a planet without Paul Stanley.
Members of at least 3 other bands were in attendance. Would you care to guess whose band members attended the wedding of the Pantera drummer and the Butcher Babies?
Well, it's the big 3. It's Slayer, Megadeth, and Metallica. I mean, Anthrax always opened up for the 3 of them.
Incorrect. No.
Pantera?
Pantera, yes.
Okay, so Pantera.
But there's 3 more.
Okay, Pantera, Anthrax, Scott Ian, Faith No More, because Scott Ian was in Mr. Bungle.
Nope. Nickelback has Chad Kroeger has had a relationship with guys in Pantera, so Nickelback was there.
I never would have guessed that.
An Eddie Trunk favorite.
Trickster.
No.
Queensryche.
No.
It's wrong.
Y&T.
No.
UFO.
Dokken. Rat.
No.
Poison.
No.
Motley Crue.
Motley Crue and Dream Theater.
Portnoy. Yeah.
What did you expect?
Was it Portnoy?
It doesn't say who, but former Kiss guitarist Bruce Kulick was in attendance, and he wrote on Facebook, this is a quote, "A fun rockin' time was had by all last night in Charlie and Carla's beautiful wedding. Gene officiated, Elvis appeared, Las Vegas showgirls entertained. Great music, delicious food, an elaborate drone show in the sky above while everyone danced. Thank you, Charlie and Carla, for an amazing evening in Las Vegas."
So they just approximated the Prince Charles wedding in Vegas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whenever Elvis shows up at your Vegas wedding, you know you're taking the marriage seriously.
Yeah, well, those kids will be together forever. I don't know how the guy's got to be in his 60s, so this just seems like let's ease into the abyss together.
I worked with a woman in Las Vegas who got married in Las Vegas, and they didn't have to have a Vegas wedding, but they did anyway. And they had Elvis officiate the entire wedding, an Elvis impersonator. And he said, all the things that made it so much fun. Do you promise to love, honor, cherish, and never step on his blue suede shoes? And as we were watching, we were like, these kids are going to be together forever. And they almost made it. They almost made it a year.
Yeah.
And then things went south.
The blue suede shoes thing seems rather forced. They couldn't go through his catalog and find something that fit him better than that. Seems a pretty weak attempt. I'll tell you, if I get married again, it's going to be a real farce. I'll just throw everything against the wall. Especially if I marry someone who's already been married. Then we can just throw caution into the wind. We can just do whatever we want. Real intimate. 2 people. Getting out of there $20 later. Good for you.
If Al Cole's not there, you're doing it wrong.
Well, I want to get married. I don't want her running off with the guy who's presiding over it.
Fair enough.
You don't want to put a sex pot like that in front of your lady right before it's time for the nuptials.
Uh-huh.
What I want to do is guarantee that if we don't make it, they get a lot of my money. That would be ideal. Especially when I'm old and relying
Even
on
if they're fat.
yeah. I mean, beggars can't be choosers. All right, that'll do it for us.